Auctorum nomina of Ram Alley or Merry Tricks by Lording Barry. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Auctorum nomina. Sir Oliver Smallshanks.
Read by Andrew Utley.
Justice Touchin.
Read by Richard Shipp.
Thomas Smallshanks.
Read by David Prickett.
William Smallshanks.
Read by Rob Board.
Boucher.
Read by Negatron.
Lieutenant Baird.
Read by Hamlet.
Throat.
Read by Peter Tucker.
Captain Puff, also known as Captain Face.
Read by James Curran.
Dash.
Read by Honoria.
Sergeant.
Read by Alan Mapstone.
First and Second Gentleman.
Read by Joseph Tabler.
A Drawer.
Read by Ruth Golding.
Serving Man.
Read by Mary Kay.
Constable.
Read by Newgate Novelist.
A Citizen.
Read by Lydia.
Lady Summerfield.
Read by Elizabeth Clatt.
Constantia Summerfield.
Read by Lynn Thompson.
Frances.
Read by Beth Thomas.
Taffeta.
Read by Alex Lane.
Adriana.
Read by Sandra Schmidt.
First Woman.
Read by Abayi.
Stage Directions, Prologue and Epilogue read by Christine G. End of Auctorum nomina. Ram Alley or Merry Tricks by Lording Barry. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Prologue. Homebred mirth our muse doth sing, the satyr's tooth and Vashpi's sting, which must do hurt when least suspected, by this play are not affected, but if conceit with quick-turned scenes, observing all those ancient streams, which from the horsefoot fount do flow, as time, place, person, and to show things never done with that true life, that thoughts and wits should stand at strife, whether the things now shown be true, or whether we ourselves now do. The things we but present, if these, free from the loathsome stage disease, so overborne, so tired and stale, not satirizing but to rail, may win your favours and inherit but calm acceptance for his merit. He vows by paper, pen and ink, and by the learned sister's drink, to spend his time, his lamps, his oil, and never cease his brain to toil, till from the silent hours of night he doth produce for your delight conceits so new, so harmless free, that Puritans themselves may see a play, yet not in public preach, that players such lewd doctrine teach, that their purjoints do quake and tremble, when they do see a man resemble the picture of a villain this, as he a friend of muses is. To you by me he gives his word, is all his play doth now afford. Actors 1. Enter Constantia sola, with a letter in her hand.
In this disguise ere scarce my mourning robes could have a general note, I have forsook my shape, my mother, and those rich domains of which I am sole heir, and now resolve in this disguise of page to follow him whose love first caused me to assume this shape. Lord, how my feminine blood stirs at the sight of these same breeches! Methinks this codpiece should betray me. Well, I will try the worst. Hither they say he usually doth come, whom I so much affect. What makes he here, in the skirts of Holborn, so near the field and at a garden house? He has some punk upon my life. No more, here he comes.
Enter Boucher.
God save you, sir. Your name, unless I err, is Master Thomas Boucher.
'Tis, sweet boy.
I have a letter for you.
Constantia delivers the letter. He reads it.
From whom is't?
The inside, sir, will tell you.
Aside.
I shall see what love he bears me now.
Thou art welcome, boy. How does the fair Constantia Summerfield, thy noble mistress?
I left her in health.
She gives thee here good words, and for her sake thou shalt not want a master. Be mine forever.
I thank you, sir.
He knocks.
Now shall I see the punk?
Enter William Smallshanks.
Who knocks so fast? Ah, I thought 'twas you. What news?
You know my business well. I sing one song.
Svot, what would you have me do? My land is gone, my credit of less trust than courtiers' words to men of judgment, and for my debts I might deserve a knighthood. What's to be done? The knight my father will not once vouchsafe to call me son. That little land he gave, Throat the lawyer swallowed at one gob for less than half the worth. And for the city there be so many rascals and tall yeomen would hang upon me for their maintenance, should I but peep or step within the gates, that I am forced, only to ease my charge, to live here in the suburbs, or in the town to walk in tenebris. I tell you, sir, your best retired life is an honest punk in a thatched house with garlic. Tell not me. My punk's my punk, and noble lechery sticks by a man when all his friends forsake him.
The pox it will. Art thou so senseless grown, so much endeared to thy bestial lust, that thy original worth should lie extinct and buried in thy shame? Far be such thoughts from spirits free and noble. Begin to live. Know thyself, and whence thou art derived. I know that competent state thy father gave cannot be yet consumed.
'Tis gone, by heaven. Not a denier is left.
'Tis impossible.
Impossible. Sart, I have had 2 suckers able to spend the wealthy Croesus store.
Enter Francis.
What are they?
Why, a lawyer and a whore. See, here comes one. Dost think this petticoat, a perfumed smock, and twice a week a bath, can be maintained with half a year's revenues? No, by heaven, we annual younger brothers must go to it by wholesale. By wholesale, man, these creatures are maintained. Her very face has cost £100.
Sir, thank yourself.
They keep this whore betwixt them.
You know, sir, I did enjoy a quiet country life, spotless and free, till you corrupted me and brought me to the court. I never knew what sleeking, glazing, or what pressing meant, till you preferred me to your aunt the lady. I knew no ivory teeth, no caps of hair, no mercury water, fucus, or perfumes to help a lady's breath, until your aunt learnt me the common trick.
The common trick, say you? A pox upon such common tricks. They will undo us all.
And knowing this, art thou so wilful blind, still to persist in ruin and defame?
What should I do? I've passed my word to keep this gentlewoman till I can place her to her own content. And what is a gentleman but his word?
Why, let her go to service.
To service? Why, so she does. She is my laundress. And by this light, no puny inner court but keeps a laundress at his command to do him service. And shall not I, eh?
Sir, you are his friend. I love him too. Propound a course which may advantage him, and you shall find such real worth in me, that rather than I'll live his hindrance, I will assume the most penurious state the city yields to give me means of life.
Why, there's it. You hear her what she says. Would not he be damned that should forsake her? Says she not well? Can you propound a course to get my forfeit land from yonder rogue? Parcel lawyer, parcel devil, all knave. Throat.
Not I.
Why, so, I thought as much. You are like our citizens to men in need, which cry, "'Tis pity a proper gentleman should want money," yet not an usuring slave will lend him a denier to help his wants. Will you lend me 40 shillings?
I will.
Why, God a mercy, there's some goodness in thee. You'll not repent?
I will not.
With that money I will redeem my forfeit land, and wed my cockatrice to a man of worship, by this light.
But how?
Thus, in Ram Alley lies a fellow by name Throat, one that professeth law, but indeed has neither law nor conscience, a fellow that never saw the bar but when his life was called in question for a cousinage. The rogue is rich. To him go you, tell him that rich Sir John Summerfield
How's that?
is lately dead, and that my hopes stand fair to get his only daughter. If I speed, and have but means to steal away the wench, Tell him I reckon him my chiefest friend, to entertain us till our nuptial rites may be accomplished. And could you but procure my elder brother meet me on the way, and but associate me unto his house, 'twere hit, i' faith. I'd give my cunning throat an honest slit for all his tricks in law.
Why, this shall be performed. Take, there's my store. To friends all things are common.
Then at the court there are none foes, for all things there are common.
I will as carefully perform thy wish as if my fortunes lay upon the attempt.
When shall I hear from you?
Within this hour.
Let me alone for the rest. If I gull not and go beyond my open-throated lawyer, for all his bookcases of tricesimo nono and quadragesima octavo, let me, like waiting gentlewomen, be ever bound to sit upon my heels and pick rushes. Will you about this gear?
With my best speed.
Then fare you well. You'll meet me?
Without fail.
Exeunt Boucher and Page.
Adieu. Now, you pernicious cockatrice, you see how I must skelder for your good. I'll bring you where you shall have means to cheat, if you have grace enough to apprehend it.
Believe me, love, howe'er some stricter wits condemn all women which are prone to love, and think that if their favour fall on any, by consequence they must be naught with many, and hold a false position, that a woman false to herself can trusty be to no man. Yet know, I say, howe'er my life hath lost the fame which my virginity aspired, I will be true to thee. My deed shall move to win from all men pity, if not love.
Tut, I know thee a good rascal. Let's in, and on with all your neat and finest rags. On with your cloak and safeguard, you arrant drab. You must cheat without all conscience, filch for thee and me. Do but thou act what I shall well contrive, we'll teach my lawyer a new way to thrive.
Exeunt. Enter Mistress Taffeta and Adriana, her maid, above.
Come, loved Adriana, here let us sit and mark who passes. Now, for a wager, what coloured beard comes next by the window?
A black, madam, I think.
I think not so. I think a red, for that is most in fashion. Lord, how scarce is the world of proper men and gallants! Sure we never more shall see a good leg worn in a long silk stocking with a long codpiece. Of all fashions, that carried it, i' faith. What's he goes by?
Enter a citizen.
A snivelling citizen. He's carrying ware on to some lady's chamber.
Exit.
But who is this?
Enter Thomas Smallshanks, reading a letter.
I know him not. He looks just like a fool.
He's very brave. He may be a courtier. What's that he reads?
Ah, how light he treads for dirtying his silk stockings. I'll tell thee what, a witty woman may with ease distinguish all men by their noses, as thus. Your nose Tuscan is lovely, large and broad, much like a goose. Your valiant generous nose, a crooked smooth and a great puffing nose. Your scholar's nose is very fresh and raw, for want of fire in winter, and quickly smells his chops of mutton in his dish of porridge. Your Puritan nose is very sharp and long, much like your widow's, and with ease can smell an edifying capon some few streets off.
Enter Boucher and Constantia.
Mistress, a very proper gentleman.
And trust me, so he is. I never saw a man that sooner could captive my thoughts, since I writ widow, than this gentleman. I would he would look up.
I laugh so loud that he may hear me.
That's not so good.
And spake you with Master Smallshanks?
I did.
Will he meet his brother?
He said he would, and I believed him. I tell you, master, I have done that for many of these gallants, that no man in this town would do but I.
What is that, boy?
Why, trust them on their words. But you will hear the news, which now supplies the city with discourse.
What is it, wag?
This, sir. They say some of our city dames were much desirous to see the baboons do their newest tricks. Went, saw them, came home, went to bed, slept. Next morning one of them, being a shifter smock, sends down her maid to warm her one. Meanwhile she begins to think on the baboon's tricks, and, naked in her bed, begins to practise some. At last she strove to get her right leg over her head thus, and by her activity she got it cross her shoulder, but not with all her power could she reduce it. At last she, with much struggling, tumbles quite from the bed upon the floor. The maid by this returned with the warm smock, and seeing her mistress thrown on the ground, trussed up like a football, exclaims, calls help, runs down amazed, swears that her mistress's neck is broke. Up comes her husband and neighbours, and finding her thus trussed, some flatly said she was bewitched, others she was possessed. A third said for her pride the devil had set her face where her rump should stand. But at last her valiant husband steps me boldly to her, helps her. She is ashamed, her husband amazed, the neighbours laughing, as none forbear. She tells them of the fatal accident. To which one answers that, if her husband would leave his trade, and carry his wife about to do this trick in public, she'd get more gold than all the baboons, calves with 2 tails, or motions whatsoever.
You are a wag.
Taffeta, above.
He will be gone if we neglect to stay him.
Shall I cough or sneeze?
No, I had. Stand aside. Ah me, my handkerchief! Adriana, Fabia!
Mistress?
Run, run! I have let my handkerchief fall. Gentlemen, shall I entreat a courtesy?
Within my power your beauty shall command. What courtesy is't?
To stoop and take up my handkerchief.
Your desire is performed.
Sir, most hearty thanks. Please you come in, your welcome shall transcend your expectation.
I accept your courtesy. Ha! What's this? Assailed by fear and hope in a moment. Boucher, this womanish passion fits not men who know the worth of freedom. Shall smiles and eyes with their lascivious glances conquer him? Hath still been lord of his affections? Shall simpering niceness, loadstones but to fools, attract a knowing spirit? It shall. It does. Not Phoebus, rising from Aurora's lap, spreads his bright rays with more majestic grace than came the glances from her quickening eye. And what of this?
By my troth, I know not.
I will not enter. Continued flames burn strong. I yet am free, and reason keeps her seat above all fond affections. Oh, yet is she fair.
Enter Adriana from above.
Sir, I bring you thanks for this great courtesy, and if you please to enter, I dare presume my mistress will afford you gracious welcome.
How do men call your mistress?
The man's in love.
Her name, sir, is Mistress Changeable, late wife to Master Taffeta, mercer, deceased.
I have heard she is both rich and beautiful.
In the eyes of such as love her. Judge yourself. Please you but prick forward and enter.
Exit Boucher.
Now will I fall aboard the waiting maid.
Fall aboard of me? Just take me for a ship?
Ay, and will shoot you betwixt wind and water.
Blurt. Master Gunner, your linstock's too short.
But how did she know that?
Dost hear, sweetheart? Should not the page be doing with the maid, whilst the master is busy with the mistress? Please you, prick forwards. Thou art a wench likely to go the way of all flesh shortly.
Whose witty knave art thou?
At your service.
At mine, faith! I should breach thee.
How breach me?
I breach thee. I've breached a taller man than you in my time. Come in, and welcome.
Exit.
Well, I see now a rich, well-practised board may purse more fees in a summer's progress than a well-traded lawyer in a whole term. Panderism! Why, 'tis grown a liberal science, or a new sect, and the good professors will, like the brownest, frequent gravel-pits shortly, for they use woods and obscure holes already.
Exit. Enter Taffeta and Boucher.
Not marry a widow?
No.
And why? Belike you think it base and servant-like to feed upon revision. You hold us widows but as a pie thrust to the lower end, that hath had many fingers in before, and is reserved for gross and hungry stomachs.
You much mistake me.
Come, in faith you do. And let me tell you that's but ceremony. For though the pie be broken up before, yet, says the proverb, the deeper is the sweeter. And though a capon's wing and leg be carved, the flesh left with the rump, I hope, is sweet. I tell you, sir, I have been wooed and sued to by worthy knights of fair domains. Nay, more, they have been out of debt. Yet till this hour I neither could endure to be in love or be beloved. But proffered ware is cheap. What's lawful that is loathed, and things denied are with more stronger appetite pursued. I am too yielding.
You mistake my thoughts. But know, thou wonder of this continent, by one more skilled in unknown fate than was the blind Achaean prophet, 'twas foretold a widow should endanger both my life, my soul, my lands, and reputation. This checks my thoughts and cools the essential fire of sacred love, more ardent in my breast than speech can utter.
A trivial idle jest is for a man of your repute and note to credit fortune-tellers. A petty rogue that never saw 5 shillings in a heap will take upon him to divine men's fate, yet never knows himself shall die a beggar, or be hanged up for pilfering tablecloth, shirts and smocks hang out to dry on hedges. 'Tis merely base to trust them. Or if there be a man in whom the Delphic god hath breathed his true divining fire that can foretell the fixed decree of fate, he likewise knows what is within the everlasting book of destiny decreed, cannot by wit or man's intervention be dissolved or shunned. And give thy love free scope, embrace and kiss, and to the distaff sisters leave the event.
How powerful are their words whom we affect! Small force shall need to win the strongest fort, if to his state the captain be perfidious. I must entreat you license my depart for some few hours.
Choose what you will of time, there lies your way.
Moves away.
I will entreat her. Stay!
Do you call, sir?
No.
Then fare you well.
Oh, who gins to love needs not a second hell.
Exit Boucher. Enter Adriana.
Adriana, makes he no stay?
Mistress?
I pray thee see if he have left the house. Peep close, see, but not be seen. Is he gone?
No, he has made a stand.
I prithee, keep close.
Nay, keep you close. You'd best.
What does he now?
Now he retires.
Re-enter Boucher below.
O you much partial gods! Why gave you men affections, and not power to govern them? What I by fate should shun, I most affect. A widow! A widow!
Blows the wind there?
Ha ha! He's in, i' faith. You've drawn him now within your purlieus, mistress.
Tut! I will not love. My rational and better parts shall conquer blind affections. Let passion, children, or weak women sway. My love shall to my judgment still obey.
Exit.
What does he now?
He's gone.
Gone? Adriana?
He went his way, and never looked behind him.
Sure he's taken?
A little singed or so. Each thing must have beginning. Men must prepare before they can come on and show their loves in pleasing sorts. The man must do in time, for love, good mistress, is much like to wax. The more 'tis rubbed, it sticks the faster too. Or like a bird in birdlime, or a pitfall. The more he labours, still the deeper in.
Come, thou must help me now. I have a trick to second this beginning, and in the nick to strike it dead, in faith. Women must woo when men forget what nature leads them to.
Exeunt. Enter Throat the lawyer from his study. Books and bags of money on a table. A chair and cushion.
Chaste Phoebe, splende. There's that left yet next to my book, Claro Micante Auro. That's the soul of law. That's it, for which the buckram bag must trudge all weathers, though scarcely filled with one poor replication. How happy are we that we joy the law so freely as we do, not bought and sold, but clearly given, without all base extorting, taking but bare 10 angels for a fee, or upward. To this renowned estate have I by indirect and cunning means inwoven myself, and now can scratch it out, thrust at a bar, and cry, my lord, as loud as e'er a listed gownman of them all. I never plead before the honoured bench, but bench right worshipful of peaceful justices and country gentlemen, and yet I've found good gettings by the mass, besides odd cheats, Will Small Shank's lands, and many garboils more. Dash!
Enter Dash.
Sir.
Is that rejoinder done?
Done, sir.
Have you drawn it at length? Have you dashed it out, according to your name?
Some 70 sheets.
Is the demurrer drawn twixt snipe and woodcock? And what do you say to Peacock's pitiful bill?
I've drawn his answer, negative to all.
Negative to all. The plaintiff says that William Goose was son to Thomas Goose. And will he swear the general bill is false?
He will.
Then he forswears his father. 'Tis well. Some of our clients will go prig to hell before ourselves. Has he paid all his fees?
He left them all with me.
Then trust my points. And how think'st thou of law?
Most reverently. Law is the world's great light, a second sun to this terrestrial globe, by which all things have life and being, and without which confusion and disorder soon would seize the general state of men. Wars, outrages, the ulcerous deeds of peace it curbs and cures. It's the kingdom's eye by which she sees the acts and thoughts of men.
The kingdom's eye! I tell thee, fool, it is the kingdom's nose by which she smells out all these rich transgressors. Nor is 't flesh, but merely made of wax, and 'tis within the power of us lawyers to wrest this nose of wax which way we please. Or it may be, as thou sayest, an eye indeed. But if it be, 'tis sure a woman's eye that's ever rolling.
Knock within.
One knocks.
Go see who 'tis. Stay, my chair and gown, and then go see who knocks. Thus must I seem a lawyer, which am indeed but merely dregs and off scum of the law.
Enter Boucher, Dash, and Constantia.
Tricesimo primo Alberti Magni. 'Tis very clear.
God save you, sir.
The place is very pregnant. Master Boucher, most hearty welcome, sir.
You ply this gear. You are no truant in the law, I see.
Faith, some 100 books in folio I have turned over to better my own knowledge, but that is nothing for a student.
Or a stationer. They turn them over too, but not as you do, gentle Master Throat. And what? The law speaks profit, does it not?
Faith, some bad angels haunt us now and then. But what brought you hither?
Why, these small legs?
You are conceited, sir.
I am in law, but let that go, and tell me how you do. How does Will Smallshanks and his lovely bride?
In troth, you make me blush. I should have asked his health of you, but 'tis not yet too late.
Nay, good Sir Throat, forbear your quillets now.
By heaven, I deal most plain. I saw him not since last I took his mortgage.
Sir, be not nice, yet I must needs herein commend your love to let me see him. For know I know him wed, and that he stole away Summerfield's heir. Therefore suspect me not. I am his friend.
How? Wed to rich Summerfield's only heir? Is old Summerfield dead?
Do you make it strange?
By heaven, I know it not.
Then am I grieved I spake so much. But that I know you love him, I should entreat your secrecy, sir. Fare you well.
Nay, good sir, stay. If aught you can disclose of Master Smallshanks' good, let me partake, and make me glad in knowing his good hap.
You much endear him, sir, and from your love I dare presume you make yourself a fortune, if his fair hopes proceed.
Say on, good sir.
Will you be secret?
Or be my tongue torn out?
Fair measure for a lawyer, but to the point. He has stole Summerfield's heir, hither brings her, as to a man on whom he may rely his life and fortunes. You hath he named already for the steward of his lands, to keep his courts, and to collect his rent, to let out leases, and to raise his fines. Nothing that may or love or profit bring, but you are named the man.
I am his slave, and bound unto his noble courtesy, even with my life. I ever said he would thrive, and I protest I kept his forfeit mortgage to let him know what 'tis to live in want.
I think no less. One more word in private.
Walk aside.
Good Master Dash, shall I put you now a case?
Speak on, good Master Page.
Then thus it is. Suppose I am a page, he is my master. My master goes to bed, and cannot tell what money's in his hose. I, ere next day, have filched out some. What action lies for this?
An action, boy, called firking the posteriors. With us your action seldom comes in question, for that 'tis known that most of your gallants are seldom so well stored that they forget what money is in their hose. But if they have, there's no other help than swear the page, and put him to his oath.
Then, Firker Lord, dost think he that has conscience to steal has not a conscience likewise to deny? Then hang him up, i' faith.
Boucher and Throat come forward again.
I must meet him.
Commend me to them. Come when they will, my doors stand open, and all within is theirs. And though Ram Alley stinks with cooks and ale, yet say there's many a worthy lawyer's chamber butts upon Ram Alley, I still have an open throat. If aught I have which may procure his good, bid him command. Ay, though it be my blood.
Exeunt. End of Act 1. Of Ram Alley, or Merry Tricks by Lording Barry. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Actus 2. Enter Oliver Smallshanks, Thomas Smallshanks.
Is this the place you were appointed to meet him?
So Boucher sent me word.
I find it true that wine, good news, and a young wholesome wench cheer up an old man's blood. I tell thee, boy, I am right hearty glad to hear thy brother hath got so great an heir. Now were myself so well disposed, I should rejoice i' faith.
I hope you shall do well.
No doubt, no doubt. Ah, Sirrah has borne the wench away. My son i' faith, my very son i' faith. When I was young, and had an able back and wore the bristle on my upper lip, in good decorum I had as good conveyance, and could have firked you away a wench, as soon as e'er a man alive. Tut, boy, I had my winks, my becks, treads on the toes, rings by the fingers, smiles, and other quirks. No courtier like me. Your courtiers are all fools to that which I could do. I could have done it, boy, even to a hair, and that some ladies know.
Sir, I am glad this match may reconcile your love unto my brother.
Oh, 'tis more than so. Yet I'll seem offended still, though I am glad he's got rich Summerfield's heir.
Enter William Smallshanks, Francis, bared, booted.
Come, wench of gold, for thou shalt get me gold, besides odd ends of silver. We'll purchase house and land by thy bare gettings, wench, by thy bare gettings. How say'st, Lieutenant Beard? Does she not look like a wench newly stole from a window?
Exceeding well she carries it, by Jove, and if she can forbear her rampant tricks, and hold but close a while, 'twill take, by Mars.
How now, you slave? My rampant tricks, you rogue? Nay, fear not me. My only fear is still thy filthy face betrays us. For all men know, thy nose stands compass like a bow which is 3/4 drawn. Thy head, which is with greasy hair o'erspread, and being uncurled and black as coal, doth show some scullion in a hole begot thee on a gipsy, or thy mother was some collier's whore. My rampant tricks, you rogue, thou'lt be descried before our plot be ended.
What should decry him, unless it be his nose? And as for that, thou mayest protest he was thy father's butler, and for thy love is likewise run away. Nay, sweet lieutenant, now forbear to puff, and let the bristles of thy beard grow downward. Reverence my punk, and panderize a little. There's many of thy rank that do profess it, yet hold it no disparagement.
I shall do what fits an honest man.
Why, that's enough. Fought my father and the goose my brother. Back, you two.
Back!
Enter Thomas and Oliver Smallshanks.
Retire, sweet lieutenant, and come not on till I shall wave you on.
Is not that he?
'Tis he.
But where's the wench?
It shall be so. I'll cheat him, that's flat.
You are well met. Know ye me, good sir? Belike you think I have no eyes, no ears, no nose to smell, and wind out all your tricks. You've stole Sir Summerfield's heir. Nay, we can find your wildest parts, your turnings and returns, your traces, squats, the muses, forms, and holes you young men use, if once our sage's wits be set a-hunting. Are you now crept forth? Have you hid your head within a suburb hole all this while, and are you now crept forth?
'Tis a stark lie.
How?
Who told you so did lie. Foot, a gentleman cannot leave the city and keep the suburbs to take a little physic, but straight some slave will say he hides his head. I hide my head within a suburb hole. I could have holes at court to hide my head were I but so disposed.
Thou varlet knave! Thou hast stolen away Sir John Summerfield's heir, but never look for countenance from me. Carry her whither thou wilt.
Father, father, heart, will you undo your posterity? Will you, sir, undo your posterity? I can but kill my brother, then hang myself, and where is then your house? Make me not despair, foot, now I have got a wench, worth by the year £2,000 and upwards, to cross my hopes. Would e'er a clown in Christendom do it but you?
Good father, let him leave this thundering, and give him grace.
Why, la, my brother knows reason, and what an honest man should do.
Well, where's your wife?
She's coming here behind.
I'll give her somewhat, though I love not thee.
My father, right. I knew you could not hold out long with a woman, but give something worthy your gift and her acceptance, father. This chain were excellent by this good light. She shall give you as good, if once her lands come to my fingering.
Enter Francis and Baird.
Peace, knave. What, is she your wife?
That shall be, sir.
And what's he?
My man.
A ruffian knave he is.
A ruffian, sir? By heaven, as tall a man as e'er drew sword, not being counted of the damned crew. He was her father's butler. His name is Beard.
To Francis.
Off with your mask. Now shall you find me true, and that I am a son unto a knight. This is my father.
I am indeed, fair maid. My style is knight. Come, let me kiss your lips.
That kiss shall cost your chain.
It smacks, i' faith. I must commend your choice.
Sir, I have given a larger venture than true modesty will well allow, or your more graver wit commend.
I dare be sworn she has.
Not so. The foolish knave has been accounted wild, and so have I. But I am now come home, and so will he.
I must believe it now.
Beg his chain, wench.
Will you cheat your father?
Aye, by this light will I.
To Francis.
Nay, sigh not, for you shall find him loving and me thankful, and were it not a scandal to my honour to be consenting to my son's attempt, you should unto my house. Meanwhile, take this as pledge and token of my after-love.
Gives her a chain.
How long since died your father?
Some 6 weeks since.
We cannot stay to talk, for slaves pursue. I have a house shall lodge us till the priest may make us sure.
Well, sirrah, love this woman, and when you are man and wife, bring her to me. She shall be welcome.
I humbly thank you, sir.
I must be gone. I must a-wooing too.
Jove and Priapus speed you. You'll return?
Instantly.
Exeunt Sir Oliver and Thomas Smallshanks.
Why, this came cleanly off. Give me the chain, you little cockatrice. Why, this was luck. What? 400 crowns, got at a clap. Hold still your own, you whore, and we shall thrive.
'Twas bravely fetched about.
Aye, when will your nose and beard perform as much?
I am glad he is gone. He put me to the blush when he did ask me of Rich Summerfield's death.
And took not I my cue? Was not good? Did I not bring you off, you arrant drab, without a counter buff? Look who comes here. And 3 merry men, and 3 merry men, and 3 merry men be we.
Enter Boucher and Constantia.
Still in this vein, I have done you service. The lawyer's house will give you entertainment, bountiful and free.
Oh, my second self! Come, let me buss thy beard. We are all made. Why art so melancholy? Dost want money? Look, here's gold, and as we pass along, I'll tell thee how I got it. Not a word, but that she's Summerfield's heir. My brother swallows it with more ease than a Dutchman does flapdragons. He comes. Now to my lawyers.
Enter Thomas Smallshanks.
Kiss my wife, good brother. She is a wench was born to make us all.
I hope no less. You are welcome, sister, into these our parts, as I may say.
Thanks, gentle brother.
Come now to Ram Alley. There shalt thou lie till I provide a priest.
Oh, villainy! I think he will gull his whole generation. I must make one, since 'tis so well begun. I'll not forsake him till his hopes be won.
Exeunt. Enter Throat and 2 citizens.
Then ye are friends?
We are, so please your worship.
'Tis well, I am glad. Keep your money, for law is like a butler's box. While you two strive, that picks up all your money. You are friends?
We are, so please you, perfect friends.
Why so? Now to the next tap house. There, drink down this. And by the operation of the 3rd pot, quarrel again, and come to me for law. Fare you well.
The gods conserve your wisdom.
Exeunt citizens.
Why so? These are tricks of the long 15s. To give counsel and to take fees on both sides, to make 'em friends and then to laugh at them. Why, this thrives well. This is a common trick. When men have spent a deal of money in law, then lawyers make them friends. I have a trick to go beyond all these. If Smallshanks come and bring rich Summerfield's heir, I say no more, but 'tis within this sconce to go beyond them.
Enter Dash.
Here a gentleman in haste would speak with you.
What are they?
I cannot know them, sir. They're so wrapped in cloaks.
Have they a woman?
Yes, sir, but she's masked, and in her riding suit.
Go, make haste, bring them up with reverence. Who are they, faith? Has brought the wealthy heir? These stools and cushions stand not handsomely.
Enter William Smallshanks, Boucher, Thomas Smallshanks, Francis, and Baird.
Bless thee, Throat.
Master Smallshanks, welcome.
Welcome, love. Kiss this gentlewoman, Throat.
Your worship shall command me.
Oh, art not weary?
Can you blame her, since she has rid so hard?
You are welcome, gentlemen. Dash!
Sir?
A fire in the great chamber, quickly.
Aye, that's well said. We are almost weary. But, Master Throat, if any come to inquire for me, my brother, or this gentlewoman, we're not here, nor have you heard of us.
Not a word, sir. Here you were as safe as in your father's house.
And he shall thank you.
Thou not merry, love? Good Master Throat, bid this gentlewoman welcome. She is one of whom you may receive some courtesy in time.
She is most hearty welcome. Wilt please you walk into another room where is both bed and fire?
Aye, aye, that. Good brother, lead her in. Master Throat and I will follow instantly.
Exeunt Thomas Smallshanks, Francis, and Baird.
Now, Master Throat, it rests within your power to pleasure me. Know that this same is Sir John Summerfield's heir. Now, if she chance to question what I am, say, son unto a lord, I pray thee, tell her I have a world of land, and stand in hope to be created baron. For I protest I was constrained to swear it 40 times, and yet she'll scarce believe me.
Pauca sapienti. Let me alone to set you out in length and breadth.
I prithee, do it effectually. Shalt have a quarter share by this good light in all she has. I prithee, Forget not to tell her the small shanks have been dancers, tilters, and very ancient courtiers, and in request at court since Sir John Shortoes with his long silk stockings was beheaded. Wilt thou do this?
Refer it to my care.
Excellent. I'll but shift my boots and then go seek a priest. This night I will be sure. If we be sure, it cannot be undone, can it, Master Throat?
Oh, sir, not possible. You have many precedents and bookcases for it, be you but sure, and then let me alone. Vivat rex, curat lex, and I'll defend you.
Nay then, hang care. Come, let's in.
Exit William Smallshanks.
Ha ha! Have you stole her? Falerii falentem non est fraus. It shall go hard, but I will strip you, boy. You stole the wench, but I must her enjoy.
Exit. Enter Mistress Taffeta and Adriana, below.
Come, Adriana, tell me what thou think'st. I'm tickled with conceit of marriage, and whom think'st thou for me the fittest husband? What sayest thou to young Boucher?
A pretty fellow, but that his back is weak.
What dost thou say to Throat the lawyer?
I like that well, were the rogue a lawyer, but he is none. He never was of any inn of court, but inn of chancery, where he was known but only for a swaggering whiffler, to keep out rogues and prentices. I saw him when he was stocked for stealing the cook's peas. A lawyer I could like, for 'tis a thing used by your citizens' wives. Your husband's dead. To get friendshoods, you straight must lawyers wed.
What say'st thou then to nimble Sir Oliver Smallshanks?
Faith, he must hit the hair. A fellow fit to make a pretty cuckold. Take an old man, 'tis now the newest fashion. Better be an old man's darling than a young man's warling. Take me the old brisk knight. The fool is rich, and will be strong enough to father children, though not to get them.
'Tis true, he is the man. Yet I will bear some dozen more in hand, and make them all my gulls.
Mistress, stand aside.
Enter Boucher and Constantia.
Young Boucher comes. Let me alone to touch him.
This is the house.
And that's the chambermaid.
Where's the widow, gentle Adriana?
The widow, sir, is not to be spoken to.
Not spoke to? I must speak with her.
Must you? Come you with authority, or do you come to sue her with a warrant that you must speak with her?
I would entreat it.
Oh, you would entreat it? May not I serve your turn? May not I unfold your secrets to my mistress? Love is your suit?
It is, fair creature.
And why did you fall off when you perceived my mistress was so coming? Do you think she's still the same?
I do?
Why so? I took you for a novice, and I must think you know not yet the inwards of a woman. Do you not know that women are like fish, which must be struck when they are prone to bite, or all your labour's lost? But, sir, walk here, and I'll inform my mistress your desires.
Exit.
Master,
Boy?
come not you for love?
I do, boy.
And you would have the widow?
I would.
By Jove, I never saw one go about his business more untowardly. Why, sir, do you not know that he which would be inward with the mistress must make a way first through the waiting maid? If you will know the widow's affections, feel first the waiting gentlewoman. Do it, master. Some 6 kisses were not lost upon this gentlewoman, for you must know these waiting maids are to their mistresses like porches unto doors. You pass the one before you can have entrance at the other. Or like your mustard to your piece of brawn, if you'll have one taste well, you must not scorn to be dipping in the other. I tell you, master, 'tis not a few men's tales which they prefer unto their mistresses in compass of a year. Be ruled by me, untrust yourself to her, out with all your love-sick thoughts to her, kiss her, and give her an angel to buy pins, and this shall sooner win her mistress's love than all your protestations, sighs, and tears.
Enter Taffeta and Adriana.
Here they come. To her boldly, master. Do, but dally not, that's the widow's phrase.
Most worthy fair, such is the power of love, that now I come to accept your proffered grace, and with submissive thoughts to entreat a pardon for my so gross neglect.
There's no offence. My mind is changed.
I told you as much before.
With a hay-pass and a repass.
Dearest of women, the constant virtue of your nobler mind speaks in your looks, nor can you entertain both love and hate at once.
'Tis all in vain.
You strive against the stream.
Fie, the waiting maid, master.
Stand thou propitious, endear me to my love.
Boucher gives Adriana his purse secretly.
Dear mistress, turn to this gentleman. I protest I have some feeling of his constant love. Cast him not away. Try his love.
Why, sir, with what audacious front you can entreat to enjoy my love, which yet not 2 hours since you scornfully refused?
Well fare the waiting maid.
My fate compelled me, but now farewell, fond fear. My soul, my life, my lands, and reputation, I'll hazard all, and prize them all beneath thee.
Which I shall put to trial. Lend me thy ear.
They talk apart.
Can you love, boy?
Yes.
What or whom?
My victuals.
A pretty knave, i' faith. Come home to-night. Shalt have a posset and candied oringos. A bed, if need be, too. I love, alive, to play with such baboons as thou.
Indeed. But dost thou think the widow will have my master?
I'll tell thee then. Won't come?
I will.
Remember.
Will you perform so much?
Or lose my blood.
Make him subscribe it, and then I vow by sacred Vesta's ever-hallowed fire to take thee to my bed.
Till then, farewell.
He's worthy, love, whose virtues most excel.
To Constantia.
Remember.
Exit Boucher and Constantia.
What? Is it a match betwixt you, mistress?
I have set the fool in hope. He has undertook to rid me of that fleshly Captain Puff, which swears in taverns and all ordinaries that I am his lawful wife. He shall allay the fury of the captain, and I, secure, will laugh at the disgrace they both endure.
Exeunt. Enter Throat and Francis.
Open your case, and I shall soon resolve you.
But will you do it truly?
As I am honest.
This gentleman whom I so much affect, I scarcely yet do know, so blind is love in things which most concerns it. As y' honest, tell me his birth, his state, his furthest hopes.
He is my friend, and I will speak him truly. He is by birth son to a foolish knight. His present state, I think, will be the prison, and farthest hope to be bailed out again by sale of all your land.
Oh, me accursed! Has he no credit, lands and manors?
That land he has lies in a fair churchyard, and for his manners they are so rude and vile that scarce an honest man will keep him company.
I am abused, cozened, and deceived.
Why, that's his occupation. He will cheat in a cloak lined with velvet. He will prate faster than 5 barbers and a tailor, lie faster than 10 city occupiers or cunning tradesmen, goes a trust in every tavern where he has spent a faggot, swears love to every whore, squires boards, and takes up houses for them as their husband. He is a man I love, and have done much to bring him to preferment.
Is there no trust, no honesty in men?
Faith, some there is, and 'tis all in the hands of us lawyers and women, and those women which have it keep their honesty so close that not one amongst 100 is perceived to have it.
Good sir, may I not by law forsake him, and wed another, though my word be passed to be his wife?
Oh, questionless you may. You have many precedents and bookcases for it. Nay, though you are married by a bookcase of millesimo, sexcentissimo, etc., you may forsake your husband and wed another, provided that some fault be in the husband, as none of them are clear.
I am resolved. I will not wed him, though I beg my bread.
All that I have is yours, and were I worthy to be your husband...
I thank you, sir. I will rather wed a most perfidious Redshanks, a noted Jew, or some mechanic slave, than let him joy in my sheets.
He comes, he comes!
Enter William Smallshanks, Boucher, Thomas Smallshanks, Baird.
Now, my virago, 'tis done. All's cocksure. I have a priest will mumble up a marriage without bell, book, or candle. A nimble slave, an honest Welshman, that was a tailor, but now is made a curate.
Nay, you're fitted.
Now, Master Throat.
Where's your spirit, sister?
What? All a mort? What's the matter? Do you hear?
What's the reason of this melancholy?
By heaven, I know not.
Has the gudgeon bit?
He has been nibbling.
Hold him to it, wench, and it will hit, by heaven. Why art so sad, foot wench? We will be married tonight. We'll sup at the Mitre, and from thence my brother and we three will to the Savoy. Which done, I tell thee, girl, we'll hand o'er head go to it pell-mell for a maidenhead. Come, you are lusty. You wenches are like bells. You give no music till you feel the clapper. Come, Throat, a torch. We must be gone.
Exit.
Servant.
Mistress?
We are undone.
Now, Joe, forfend.
This fellow has no land, and which is worse, he has no credit.
How? Are we outstripped? Blown up by wit of man? Let us be gone, home again, our market now is done.
That were too great a scandal.
Most true. Better to wed another than to return with scandal and defame. Wed me a man whose wealth may reconcile your mother's love, and make the action lawful.
But where's the man? I like your counsel, could you show the man?
Myself am he. Might I but dare aspire unto so high a fortune.
Mistress, take the man. Shall we be baffled with fair promises, or shall we trudge like beggars back again? No, take this wise and virtuous man, who should he lose his legs, his arms, his ears, his nose, and all his other members, yet if his tongue be left, 'twill get his living. Take me this man.
Thanks, gentle Master Beard.
'Tis impossible. This night he means to wed me.
If not by law, we will with power prevent it, so you but give consent.
Let's hear the means.
I'll muster up my friends, and thus I cast it. Whilst they are busy, you and I will hence directly to a chapel, where a priest shall knit the nuptial knot, ere they pursue us.
O rare invention! I will act my part. He owes me £13. I can say no more, but there be catchpoles. Speak, is't a match?
I give my liking.
Exeunt Francis and Baird.
Dash!
Sir.
Get your sword, and me my buckler. Nay, you shall know we are tum marti quam mercurio. Bring my cloak, you shall thither. I'll for friends, worship and wealth the lawyer's state attends. Dash! We must bear some brain to St. John Street. Go, run, fly! And afar off inquire if that the Lady Summerfield be there. If there, know what news, and meet me straight at the Mitre door in Fleet Street. Away! To get rich wives men must not use delay.
End of Act 2. Alley, or Merry Tricks by Lording Barry. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Actus 3. Enter Sir Oliver Smallshanks, Justice Touchin.
Hunting Sir Oliver, and Dryfoot too.
We old men have our crotchets, our conundrums, our figgeries, quirks, and quibbles, as well as use. Justice Touchin, I go to hunt no buck, but prick a lusty doe. I go, in truth, a-wooing.
Then ride with me, I'll bring you to my sister Summerfield.
Justice, not so. By her there hangs a tale.
That's true indeed.
She has a daughter.
And what of that?
I likewise have a son, a villainous boy, his father up and down. What should I say? These velvet-bearded boys will still be doing, say what we old men can.
And what of this, Sir Oliver? Be plain.
A nimble-spirited knave. The villain boy has one trick of his sire, has got the wench, stolen your rich sister's heir.
Summerfield's heir?
Has done the deed, has pierced the vessel's head, and knows by this the vintage.
When should this be?
As I am by my counsel well informed, this very day.
Tut, it cannot be. Some 10 miles hence I saw the maid last night.
Maids may be maids tonight, and not tomorrow. Women are free, and sell their maiden heads as men sell cloth by yard and handful. But if you chance to see your sister widow, comfort her tears, and say her daughter's matched with one that has a knocker to his father, an honest, noble knight.
Enter Captain Puff.
Stand close, knight, close, and mark this captain's humour. His name is Puff. He dreams as he walks and thinks no woman sees him but is in love with him.
'Twere brave, should some great lady through a window spied me, and straight should love me, say, she should send £5,000 unto my lodging, and crave my company. With that money I shall make 3 several cloaks, and line them with black, crimson, and tawny 3-plied velvet. I would eat at Chare's ordinary, and dice at Antony's. Then would I keep my whore in beaten velvet, and have 2 slaves to tend her.
Ha 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 ha!
What, my case of justice? What, are you eavesdropping? Or do you think your 20 coats with greasy facings here shall carry it? Sir Oliver Small, Shanks. No, my name is Puff, knight. Thee have I sought to fright thee from thy wits.
Nay, good Sir Puff, we have too many madmen already.
How? I tell thee, Justice Tutchin, not all thy bailiffs, sergeants, busy constables, defeasants, warrants, or thy minimuses shall save his throat from cutting, if he presume to woo the widow, clipped taffeta. She is my wife by oath. Therefore, take heed. Let me not catch thee in the widow's house. If I do, I'll pick thee head upon my sword, and piss in thy very visnomy. Beware, beware. Come there no more. A captain's word flies not so fierce as doth his fatal sword.
Exit Puff.
How like you this? Shall we endure this thunder, or go no further?
We will on, Sir Oliver, we will on. Let me alone to touch him. I wonder how my spirit did forbear to strike him on the face. Had this been spoke within my liberties, he'd have died for it.
Re-enter Captain Puff.
I was about to draw.
If you come here, thy beard shall serve to stuff those balls, by which I get me heat at tennis.
Exit Puff.
Is he gone? I would he durst have stood to this a while. Well, I shall catch him in a narrow room where neither of us can flinch. If I do, I'll make him dance a trenchmore to my sword. Come, I'll along with you to the widow. We will not be outbraved, take my word. We'll not be wronged while I can draw a sword.
Exeunt. Enter Throat and 2 other gentlemen.
Let the coach stay at Shoe Lane End. Be ready. Let the boot stand open, and when she's in, hurry towards St. Giles in the Fields, as if the devil himself were waggoner. Now for an arm of oak and heart of steel, to bear away the wench, to get a wife, a gentlewoman, a maid, nay, which is more, an honest maid, and, which is most of all, a rich and honest maid. Oh Jove, for a man to wed such a wife as this is to dwell in the suburbs of heaven.
Is she so exquisite?
Sir, she is rich, and a great heir.
'Tis the more dangerous.
Dangerous? Lord, where be those gallant spirits? The time has been when scarce an honest woman, much less a wench, could pass an inn of court, but some of the fry would have been doing with her. I knew the day when Shreds, a tailor, coming once late by an inn of Chancery, was laid along and muffled in his cloak. His wife took in, stitched up, turned out again, and he persuaded all was but in jest. Tut, those brave boys are gone. These which are left are wary lads, live poring on their books, and give their linen to their laundresses. By tale they now can save their purses. I knew when every gallant had his man, but now a 12-penny weekly laundress will serve the turn to 6 of them.
Enter Dash.
Here comes my man. What news?
As you would wish, the Lady Summerfield is come to town. Her horse is yet a walking, and her men say her only daughter is conveyed away. No man knows how. Now to it, master. You and your servant Dash are made forever, if you but stick to it now.
Gentlemen, now show yourselves at full, and not a man but shares a fortune with me if I speed.
Enter William Smallshanks, Boucher, Thomas Smallshanks, Francis, and Baird with a torch.
Tut, fear not us. Be sure you run away, and we'll perform the quarrel.
Stand close. They come.
Art sure he will be here?
Most sure.
Beard.
Sir?
Bear up the torch and keep your way apace directly to the Savoy.
Have you a license? Look to that, brother, before you marry, for fear the parson lose his benefice.
Tut, our curate craves no licence. He swears his living came to him by a miracle.
How by miracle?
Why, he paid nothing for't. He swears that few be free from simony, but only Welshmen, and those, he says, too, are but mountain priests.
But hang him, fool, he lies. What's his reason?
His reason is this, that all their livings are so rude and bare that not a man will venture his damnation by giving money for them. He does protest there is but 2 pair of hose and shoes in all his parish.
Hold up your lights, sir.
Shall I be taught how to advance my torch?
What's the matter, Lieutenant?
Your lieutenant's an ass.
How an ass? Die men like dogs?
Draws.
Hold, gentlemen.
An ass? An ass?
Hold, brother. Hold, Lieutenant. Put up as you are men. Your wife is gone.
Gone?
Gone.
How? Which way? This is some plot.
Down toward Fleet Bridge.
Follow. So has the wench. Let's pursue aloof, and see the event. This will prove good mirth, when things unshaped shall have a perfect birth.
Exit. Enter William Smallshanks, Boucher, Thomas Smallshanks, and Baird, their swords drawn.
'Tis a thing impossible they should be gone thus far, and we not see them.
Upon my life, they went in by the Greyhound, and so struck into Bridewell.
What should she make there?
Take water at the dock.
Water at dock? A fico for her dock. You'll not be ruled, you'll still be upsteaded. Upon my fate she took along Shoe Lane, and so went home.
Home?
Aye, home. How could she choose but go, seeing so many naked tools at once drawn in the street?
What scurvy luck was this?
Come, we will find her, or we'll fire the suburbs. Put up your tools. Let's first along Shoe Lane, then straight up Holborn. If we find her not, we'll thence direct to Throats. If she be lost, I am undone, and all your hopes are crossed.
Exeunt. Enter Sir Oliver Smallshanks, Justice Touchin, Mistress Taffeta, Adriana.
Widow, I must be short.
Sir Oliver, will you shame yourself? Ha! You must be short. Why, what a word was that to tell a widow?
I meant I must be brief.
Why say so, then? Yet that's almost as ill. Go to, speak on.
Widow, I must be brief. What old men do, they must do quickly.
Then, good sir, do it. Widows are seldom slow to put men to it.
And old men know their cues. My love, you know, has been protested long, and now I come to make my latest tender. An old-grown oak can keep you from the rain, and stands as fair and portly as the best.
Yet search him well, and we shall find no pith or hardy timber to underlay a building.
I would that oak had been a fire. Forward, good Sir Oliver, your oak is naught. Stick not too much to that.
If you can like, you shall be ladyfied, live at the court, and soon be got with child. What, do you think we old men can do nothing?
This was somewhat like.
You shall have jewels, a baboon, parrot, and an Iceland dog, and I myself to bear you company. Your jointure is £500 by year, besides your plate, your chains, and household stuff, when envious fate shall change this mortal life.
But shall I not be overcloyed with love? Will you not be too busy? Shall I keep my chamber by the month, if I be pleased to take physic to send for visitants, to have my maid read Amadis de Gaul or Donzel de Febo to me? Shall I have a coach of the last edition, the coachman's seat a good way from the coach, that if some other ladies and myself chance to talk bawdy, he may not overhear us?
All this and more.
Shall we have 2 chambers? And will you not presume unto my bed, till I shall call you by my waiting maid?
Not I, by heaven.
And when I send her, will you not entice her to your lust, nor tumble her before you come to me?
Nay, let him do his worst. Make your match sure, and fear not me. I never yet did fear anything my master could do to me.
Knock.
What noise is that? Go see, Adriana, and bring me word. I am so haunted with a swaggering captain that swears, God bless us, like a very termagant, a rascal knave, that says he will kill all men which seek to wed me.
Oh, mistress, Captain Puff, half drunk, is now coming upstairs.
Oh, God, have you no room beyond this chamber? He hath sworn to kill me and piss in my very visnomy.
What, are you afraid, Sir Oliver?
Not afraid, but of all men I love not to meddle with a drunkard. Have you any room backwards?
None, sir.
Is there ne'er a trunk or cupboard for him? Is there ne'er a hole backwards to hide him in?
Captain Puff, without.
I must speak with her.
Oh, God, he comes!
Creep under my mistress's fardingale, knight. That's the best and safest place in the chamber.
Aye, there, that lie will never mistrust.
Enter, knight, keep close, gather yourself round like a hedgehog. Stir not, whatever you hear, see, or smell, knight. God bless us, here he comes.
Enter Captain Puff.
Bless thee, widow and wife.
Sir, get you gone. Leave my house, or I will have you conjured with such a spell you never have yet heard of. Have you no other place to vent your froth but in my house? Is this the fittest place your captainship can find to puff in, huh?
How? Am I not thy spouse? Didst thou not say these arms should clip thy naked body fast betwixt 2 linen sheets, and be sole lord of all thy pewter work? Thy word is past, and know that man is powder, dust, and earth, that shall once dare to think thee for his wife.
How now, you slave? One call the constable.
No constable, with all his halberdiers, dare once advance his head or peep upstairs. If I cry but keep down, have I not lived and marched on sieged walls, in thunder, lightning, rain, and snow, and eke in shot of powdered balls, whose costly marks are yet to show?
Captain Puff, for my last husband's sake, with whom you were so familiarly acquainted, I am content to wink at these rude tricks. But hence, trouble me no more. If you do, I shall lay you fast where you shall see no sun or moon.
Nor yet the northern pole, a fico for the sun and moon. Let me live in a hole, so that these 2 stars may shine.
Sir, get you gone, you swaggering, cheating Turnbull street rogue, or I will hale you to the common jail, where lice shall eat you.
Go to, I shall spurn and flesh your petticoat.
Run to the counter, fetch me a red-bearded sergeant. I'll make you, captain, think the devil of hell is come to fetch you, if he once fasten on you.
Damn thee and thy sergeants, thou mercer's punk. Thus will I kick thee and thy farthingales.
Kicks at her petticoat.
Hold, captain!
What, do you cast your whelps? What, have I found you, sir? Have I not placed my sakers, culverings, demi-culverings, my cannons, demi-cannons, basilisks upon her breach? And do I not stand ready with my pike to make my entry? And are you not come to man her?
Good captain, hold!
Are not her bulwarks, parapets, trenches, scarps, counterscarps, fortifications, curtains, shadows, mines, countermines, rapiers, forts, ditches, works, waterworks, and is not her half-moon mine? And you bring a rescue, good men knight?
Call up my men. Where be these knaves? Bear they no ears or hearts?
Enter Oliver Smallshanks, and 2 or 3 others with clubs.
Bear hence this rascal. Some other fetch a warrant. I'll teach him to know himself.
Down with the slave.
'Tis not your beard shall carry it. Down with the rogue.
Not Hercules 'gainst 20.
Exit Puff.
Ah, sirrah, I knew my hands no longer could forbear him. Why did you not strike the knave, Sir Oliver?
Why, so I did.
But then it was too late.
What would you have me do when I was down and he stood thundering with his weapon drawn, ready to cut my throat?
Enter Adriana.
The rogue is gone, and here's one from the Lady Sommerfield, to entreat you, come with all the speed you can to St. John Street.
Which I will do.
Gentlemen, I am sorry you should be thus disturbed within my house, but now all fear is past, you are most welcome. Supper ended, I'll give a gracious answer to your suit. Meanwhile, let naught dismay or keep you mute.
Exit. Enter Throat, Francis, and Dash.
Pay the coachman, Dash, pay him well, and thank him for his speed. Now, vivat rex, the knot is knit, which not the law itself, with all his hydra heads and strongest nerves, is able to disjoin. Now let him hang, fret out his guts, and swear the stars from heaven. He shall never enjoy you, you shall be rich. Your lady mother this day came to town in your pursuit. We will but shift some rags, and straight go take her blessing.
That must not be. Furnish me with jewels, and then myself, attended by your man and honest beard, will thither first, and with my lady mother crave a peace for you.
I like that well. Her anger somewhat calmed, I brisk and fine, some half hour after will present myself as son-in-law unto her, which she must needs accept with gracious looks.
Ay, when she knows before by me from what an eminent plague your wisdom has preserved me.
Ay, that will strike it dead. But here comes Beard.
Enter Beard.
What, are you sure tied fast by heart and hand?
I now do call her wife. She now is mine, sealed and delivered by an honest priest at St. Giles in the Fields.
God give you joy, sir.
But where's mad Smallshanks?
Oh, hard at hand, and almost mad with loss of his fair bride. Let not my lovely mistress be seen, and see if you can draw him to compound for all his title to her. I have sergeants ready to do the feat when time shall serve.
Stand you aside, dear love. Nay, I will firk my silly novice as he was never firked, since midwives bound his noddle. Here they come.
Enter William Smallshanks, Thomas Smallshanks, and Boucher.
Oh, Master Throat, unless you speak good news, my hopes are crossed, and I undone for ever.
I never thought you'd come to other end. Your courses have been always so profane, extravagant, and base.
Nay, good sir, here. Did not my love return? Came she not hither? For Jove's love, speak.
Sir, will you get you gone, and seek your love elsewhere? For no, my house is not to entertain such customers as you and your comrades.
Is the man mad or drunk? Why, Master Throat, know you to whom you talk so saucily?
Why, unto you, and to your brother Smallshanks. Will you be gone?
Nay, good sir, hold us not in this suspense. Answer directly. Came not the Virgin hither?
Will you be gone directly? Are you mad? Come you to seek a virgin in Ram Alley, so near an inn of court, and amongst cooks, alemen, and laundresses? Why, you fools!
Sir, leave this furker law, or by this light I'll give your throat a slit. Came she not hither? Answer to that point.
What, have you lost her? Come, do not gull your friends.
By heaven, she's gone, unless she be returned since we last left you.
Nay, then I cry you mercy. She came not hither, as I am an honest man. Is't possible a maid so lovely fair, so well demeaned, should be took from you? What, you three, so young, so brave, and valiant gentlemen? Sure it cannot be.
Afore God, 'tis true.
To our perpetual shame, 'tis now too true.
Is she not left behind you in the tavern? Are you sure you brought her out? Were you not drunk, and so forgot her?
Oh, pox on all such luck. I will find her, or by this good light I'll fire all the city. Come, let's go. Whoever has her shall not long enjoy her. I'll prove a contract. Let us walk the round. I'll have her if she keep above the ground.
Exit.
Ha, ha, ha! He makes me sport, in faith. The gull is mad, stark mad. Dash, draw the bond, and a release of all his interest in this my loved wife.
Ay, be sure of that, for I have certain goblins in buff jerkins lying in ambuscado for him.
Re-enter William Smallshanks with the sergeants.
I arrest you, sir.
Rescue, rescue!
Oh, he is caught.
I'll give you bail. Hang off, honest catchpoles. Master Throat, good, wise, learned, and honest Master Throat, now or never, help me.
What's the matter?
Here are 2 retainers, hangers-on, sir, which will consume more than 10 liveries if by your means they be not straight shook off. I am arrested.
Arrested? What's the sum?
But £13, due to Beard the butler. Do but bail me, and I will save you harmless.
Why, here's the end of it. I know the law. If you be bailed by me, the debt is mine, which I will undertake.
La there, rogues. Foot, I knew he would not let me once for £13.
Provided you seal a release of all your claim to Mistress Summerfield.
Sergeants, do your kind. Hail me to the hole. Seal a release. Sergeants, come, to prison. Seal a release for Mistress Summerfield. First I will stink in jail, be eat with lice, endure an object worse than the devil himself, and that's 10 sergeants peeping through the grates upon my lousy linen. Come to jail. Foot, a release.
There's no conscience in it.
'Tis a demand uncharitable.
Nay, choose.
Enter Francis.
I can hold no longer, impudent man.
My wife! Foot, my wife! Let me go, sergeants.
Oh, thou perfidious man, darest thou presume to call her wife, whom thou so much hast wronged? What conquest hast thou got to wrong a maid, a silly harmless maid? What glory is that thou hast thus deceived a simple virgin, and brought her from her friends? What honour was't for thee to make the butler lose his office and run away with thee? Your tricks are known. Did thou not swear thou shouldst be baronized, and hadst both lands and fortunes, both which thou wantest?
Foot, that's not my fault. I would have lands if I could get 'em.
I know your tricks, and know I now am wife unto this man.
How?
How?
I thank her, sir. She has now vouchsafed to cast herself on me.
Therefore subscribe, take somewhat of him for a full release, and pray to God to make you an honest man. If not, I do protest by heaven and earth, although I starve, thou shalt never enjoy me.
Her vow is past, nor will she break her word. Look to it, Mitcher.
I hope he will compound.
Foot, shall I give £2,000 a year for nothing?
Brother, come, be ruled by me. Better to take a little than lose all.
You see she's resolute. You'd best compound.
I'll first be damned ere I will lose my right. Unless he give me up my forfeit mortgage, and bail me of this action.
Sir, you may choose. What is the mortgage worth?
Let's have no whispering.
Some £40 a year.
Do it, do it. Come, you shall do it. We will be rid of him at any rate.
Dash, go fetch his mortgage.
Exit Dash.
So that your friends be bound, you shall not claim title, right, possession, in part or whole, in time to come, in this my loved wife. I will restore the mortgage, pay this debt, and set you free.
They shall not.
We will. Come, draw the bonds, and we will soon subscribe them.
Enter Dash.
They're ready drawn. Here's his release. Sergeants, let him go.
Here's the mortgage, sir.
Was ever man thus cheated of a wife? Is this my mortgage?
The very same, sir.
Well, I will subscribe. God give you joy, although I have but little cause to wish it. My heart will scarce consent unto my hand. 'Tis done.
You give this as your deed?
We do.
Certify them, Dash.
What? Am I free?
You are. Sergeants, I discharge you. There's your fees.
Not so. I must have money.
I'll pass my word.
Foutre, words are wind. I say I must have money.
How much, sir?
£3 in hand, and all the rest tomorrow.
There's your sum. Now, officers, be gone. Each take his way. I must to St. John's Street and see my lady mother. She's now in town, and we to her shall straight present our duties.
Oh, Jove! Shall we lose the wench thus?
Even thus. Throat, farewell. Since 'tis thy luck to have her, I shall still pray you long may live together. Now each to his affairs.
Good night to all.
Exeunt William Smallshanks, Thomas Smallshanks, and Boucher.
Dear wife, step in. Beard and Dash, come hither. Here, take this money. Go borrow jewels of the next goldsmith. Beard, take thou these books. Go both to the brokers in Fetter Lane, lay them in pawn for a velvet jerkin and a double ruff. Tell him he shall have as much for a loan tonight as I do give usury for a whole circuit. Which done, you two shall man her to her mother's. Go!"
Exeunt Beard and Dash.
My fate looks big. Methinks I see already 19 gold chains, 17 great beards, and 10 reverend bald heads proclaim my way before me. My coach shall now go prancing through Cheapside, and not be forced to hurry through the streets for fear of sergeants. Nor shall I need to try whether my well-grasped tumbling foot-cloth nag be able to outrun a well-breathed catchpole. I now in pomp will ride, for 'tis most fit he should have state that riseth by his wit.
Exit. End of Act 3. Of Ram Alley, or Merry Tricks by Lording Barry. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Actors 4. Enter Sir Oliver, Justice Touchin, Taffeta, and Adriana.
Good meat the belly fills, good wine the brain. Women please men, men pleasure them again. Car me, car thee, one thing must love another. English love Scots, Welsh men love each other.
You say very right, Sir Oliver, very right. I have to my noddle, I faith. That's all the fault old justices have. When they are at feasts they will bib hard. There will be fine sunburnt, sufficient foxed or columbred now and then. Now could I sit in my chair at home and nod a drunkard to the stocks by virtue of the last statute rarely.
Sir, you are merry.
I am indeed.
Your supper, sir, was light, but I hope you think you're welcome.
I do. A light supper, quoth you? Pray God it be. Pray God I carry it cleanly. I am sure it lies as heavy in my belly as malt lead. Yet I'll go see my sister Summerfield.
So late, good justice?
Ay, even so late. Night is the mother of wit, as you may see by poets, or rather constables, in their examinations at midnight. We'll lie together without marrying, save the curate's fees and the parish a labour. 'Tis a thriving course.
That may not be, for excommunications then will flee.
That's true, they fly indeed like wild geese in flocks, one in the breach of another. But the best is, a small matter stays them. And so farewell.
Farewell, good Justice Touchin.
Exit Justice Touchin.
Alas, good gentleman, his brains are crazed, but let that pass. Speak, widow, is the match? Shall we clap it up?
Nay, if it come to clapping, good night, i' faith. Mistress, look before you. There's nothing more dangerous to maid or widow than sudden clappings up. Nothing has spoiled so many proper ladies as clappings up. Your shuttlecock striding from tables to ground, only to try the strength of the back. Your riding a-hunting. Ay, though they fall with their heels upward, and lay as if they were taking the height of some high star with a cross-staff. No, nor your jumblings in horse-litters, coaches, or caroushes have spoiled so many women as clappings up.
Why then we'll chop it up.
That's not allowed, unless you were son to a Welsh curate. But faith, Sir Knight, I have a kind of itching to be a lady, that, I can tell you, woos and can persuade with better rhetoric than oaths, wit, wealth, valour, lands, or person. I have some debts at court, and, marrying you, I hope the courtiers will not stick to pay me.
Never fear thy payment. This I will say for courtiers, they'll be sure to pay each other, however they deal with citizens.
Then here's my hand. I am your wife, condition we be joined before tomorrow's sun.
Nay, even tonight, so you'll be pleased. With little warning, widow, we old men can be ready, and thou shalt see before the time that Chanticleer shall call and tell the day is near, when wenches lying on their backs receive with joy their love-stolen smacks, when maids, awaked from their first sleep, deceived with dreams begin to weep, and think if dreams such pleasure know, what sport the substance them would show. When a lady gins white limbs to spread, her love but new stolen to her bed, his cotton shoes he yet scarce put off, and dares not laugh, speak, sneeze, or cough. When precise dames begin to think why their gross lowering husbands stink, what pleasure 'twere then to enjoy a nimble vicar or a boy, before this time thou shalt behold me quaffing out our bridal bowl.
Then, belike, before the morning sun, you will be coupled.
Yes, faith, Adriana.
Well, I will look you shall have a clean smock, provided that you pay the fee, Sir Oliver. Since my mistress, sir, will be a lady, I'll lose no fees due to the waiting maid.
Why, is there a fee belonging to it?
A knight, and never heard of smock fees? I would I had a monopoly of them, so there were no impost set upon them.
Enter William Smallshanks.
Whom have we here? What, my mad-headed son? What makes he here so late? Say I am gone, and I the whilst will step behind the hangings.
God bless thee, parcel of man's flesh.
How, sir?
Why, parcel of man's flesh? Art not a woman? But, widow, where's the old stinkard, my father? They say, widow, you dance together after his pipe.
What then?
Thou'rt a fool. I'll assure thee there's no music in it.
Can you play better?
Better, widow? Blood, dost think I have not learnt my prick song? What, not the court prick song? One up and another down. Why, I have to a hair. By this light I hope thou lovest him not.
I'll marry him, sir.
How, marry him? Fool, art mad, widow. Would marry an old crazed man with meagre looks, with visage wan, with little legs and crinkled thighs, with chap-fallen gums and deep-sunk eyes? Why, a dog, seized on 10 days by death, stinks not so loathsome as his breath, nor can a city common jakes, which all men's breeches undertakes, yield fasting stomachs such a savour, as doth his breath and ugly favour.
Aside.
Rogue.
That's all one, sir. She means to be a lady.
Does she so? And thou must be her waiting woman? Faith, thou wilt make a fine dainty creature to sit at a chamber door and look fleas in my lady's dog, while she is shewing some slippery breeched courtier rare faces in a bay window. Foot, widow, marry me, a young and complete gallant.
How a complete gallant? What? A fellow with a hat tucked up behind, and what we use about our hips to keep our coats from dabbling, he wears around his neck, a farthingale, a standing collar to keep his neckband clean, the whilst his shirt doth stink, and is more foul than an inn of chancery tablecloth. His breeches must be plaited, as if he had some 30 pockets, when one poor halfpenny purse will carry all his treasures. His knees all points, as if his legs and hams were tied together. A fellow that has no insides, but prates by rote, as players and parrots used to do. And, to define a complete gallant right, a mercer formed him, a tailor makes him, and a player gives him spirit.
Why, so in my conscience to be a countess thou wouldst marry a hedgehog. I must confess 'tis state to have a coxcomb kiss your hands, while yet the chamber lie is scarce wiped off. To have an upright usher march before you, bareheaded in a tufter-farter jerkin, made of your old cast gown, shows passing well. But when you feel your husband's pulse, that's hell. Then you fly out and bid straight smocks farewell.
I hope, sir, whate'er our husbands be, we may be honest.
Maybe, may ya. Women and honesty are so near allied as parsons' lives are to their doctrines. One and the same. But, widow, now be ruled. I hope the heavens will give thee better grace than to accept the father, and I yet live to be bestowed. If you wed the stinkard, you shall find the tale of Tantalus to be no fable, widow.
Aside.
How I sweat. I can hold no longer.
Comes out.
Degenerate bastard. I here disclaim thee, cashier thee, nay more, I disinherit thee both of my love and living. Get thee a grey cloak and hat, and walk in pulls amongst thy cashiered mates as melancholy as the best.
Come not near me. I forbid thee my house, my outhouses, my garden, my orchard, and my backside. Thou shalt not harbour near me.
Exeunt Taffeta and Adriana.
Nay, to thy grief, no varlet. I will be wed this morning. Thou shalt not be there, nor once be graced with a piece of rosemary. I cashier thee. Do not reply. I will not stay to hear thee.
Exit Sir Oliver.
Oh, now may I go put me on a clean shirt and hang myself. Fot! Who would have thought the fox had earthed so near me? What's to be done? What miracle shall I now undertake to win respective grace with God and men? What if I turned courtier and lived honest? Sure, that would do. I dare not walk the streets, for I dwindle at a sergeant in buff almost as much as a new player does at a plague bill certified 40. Well, I like this widow, a lusty plump drab, has substance both in breech and purse, and pity and sin it were she should be wed to a furred cloak and a nightcap. I'll have her. This widow I will have. Her money shall pay my debts and set me up again. 'Tis here, 'tis almost forged, which, if it take, the world shall praise my wit, admire my fate.
Exit. Enter Beard Francis, Sergeant, Drawer.
Sergeants, beware, be sure you not mistake, for if you do...
She shall be quickly bailed. She shall, corpus cum causa, be removed. Your action entered first below shall shrink, and she shall find, Sir Sergeant, she has friends will stick to her in the commonplace.
Sir, will you procure her bail?
She shall be bailed. Drawer, bring up some wine. Use her well. Her husband is a gentleman of sort.
A gentleman of sort? Why, what care I? A woman of her fashion shall find more kindness at a lusty sergeant's hand than 10 of your gentlemen of sort.
Sir, use her well. She is wife to Master Throat.
I'll use her, sir, as if she were my wife. Would you have any more?
Drink upon that whilst we go fetch her bail. Dash, fellow, dash, with all the speed thou hast, run for our master. Make haste lest he be gone before thou comest to Lady Summerfield's. I'll fetch another. She shall have bail.
And a firking writ of false imprisonment. She shall be sure of 12p damage and £25 for suits in law. I'll go fetch my master.
And I another.
Exeunt Beard and Dash.
Drawer, leave the room. Here, mistress, a health.
Let it come, sweet rogue.
The Drawer stands aside.
Ay, say you so? Then must I have an eye. These sergeants feed on very good reversions, on capons, teals, and sometimes on a woodcock hot from the Shreve's own table. The knaves feed well, which makes them horrid lechers.
This health is pledged, and honest sergeant, how does Master Gripe, the keeper of the counter? I do protest I found him always favourable to me. He is an honest man, he has often stood to me and been my friend, and let me go a trust for victual when he has denied it nights. But come, let's pay and then be gone. The arrest, you know, was but a trick to get from nimble Dash, my husband's man.
True. But I have an action at suit of Mistress Smellsmock, your quondam bald. The sum is £8 good for 6 weeks' board, and 5 weeks' loan for a red taffeta gown bound with a silver lace.
I do protest, by all the honesty twixt thee and me. I got her in that gown in 6 weeks' space, £4 and 14p given by a clerk of an inn of Chancery that night I came out of her house. And does the filthy jade send to me for money? But, honest sergeant, let me go, and say thou didst not see me, and I'll do thee as great a pleasure shortly.
Shall we embrace tonight?
With all my heart.
Sit on my knee and kiss.
Enter Beard.
What news, boy? Why stand you sentinel?
Do but conceal yourself, and we shall catch my sergeant napping.
Shall maids be here deflowered?
Now kiss again.
Now, now.
Enter Captain, and, seeing the hurly-burly, runs away.
Deflower virgins, rogue, avaunt ye slave, are maids fit subjects for a sergeant's mace?
Exit Sergeant.
So now are we once more free. There's for the wine. Now to our rendezvous. 3 pounds in gold these slops contain. We'll quaff in Venice glasses, and swear some lawyers are but silly asses.
Exeunt Beard and Francis. Enter Captain Puff.
Is the coast clear? Are these combustions ceased? And may we drink canary sack in peace? Shall we have no attendants here, you rogues? Where be these rascals that skipped up and down, faster than virginal jacks? Drawers!
Sir?
On whom wait you, Sir Rogue?
Faith, Captain, I attend a conventicle of players.
How, players? What, is there e'er a cuckold among you?
Jove defend else. It stands with policy that one should be a notorious cuckold, if it be but for the better keeping the rest of his company together.
When did you see Sir Theophatus slop, the city dog-master?
Not today, sir.
What have you for my supper?
Nothing ready, unless you please to stay the dressing, Captain.
Zounds! Stay the dressing, you damned rogue. What, shall I wait upon your greasy cook, and wait his leisure? Go downstairs, rogue. Now all her other customers be served. Ask if your mistress have a snip of mutton yet left for me.
Yes, sir.
And, goodman rogue, see what good thing your kitchen maid has left for me to work upon. My barrel gutlings grumble, and would have food.
Exit drawer.
Say now, the vintner's wife shall bring me up a pheasant, partridge, quail, a pleasant banquet, and extremely love me. Desire me to eat, kiss, and protest I should pay nothing for it. Say she should drink herself 3/4 drunk to win my love, and give me a chain worth some 60 pounds. Say 'twere worth but 40, say but 20. For citizens do seldom in their wooing give about 20 pounds. Say then 'tis 20. I'll go sell some 15 pounds worth of the chain to buy some clothes, and shift my lousy linen, and wear the rest as a perpetual favour about my arms in fashion of a bracelet. Say then her husband should grow jealous, and make him drunk, and then uncuckold him. But then a vintner's wife, some rogue will say, which sits at the bar for the receipt of custom, that smells of chippings and of broken fish, is love to Captain Puff, which to prevent I'll never come but when her best stitched hat, her bugle gown, and best wrought smock is on. Then does she neither smell of bread, of meat, or droppings of the tap. It shall be so.
Enter Boucher, William Smallshanks, and Constantia.
Now leave us, boy. Bless you, Captain Puff.
I'll have no music.
Foot, dost thou take us for fiddlers?
Then turn straight, drawer, run down the stairs, and thank the gods gave me that great patience not to strike you.
Your patience, sir, is great, for you dare seldom strike. Sirrah, they say you needs will wed the widow Taffeta, nolens volens.
Do not urge my patience. Awake not fury new racked up in embers. I give you leave to live.
Men say you have tricks. You're an admirable ape, and you can do more feats than 3 baboons. We must have some.
My patience yet is great. I say, begone. My tricks are dangerous.
That's nothing. I have brought you furniture. Come, get up upon this table. Do your feats, or I will whip you to them. Do not I know you are a lousy knave?
How, lousy knave? Are we not English bred?
You are a cowardly rogue that dares not look a kitling in the face if she but stare or meow.
My patience yet is great. Do you bandy tropes? By dis, I will be knight. I wear a blue coat on great St. George's Day, and with my fellows drive you all from Paul's for this attempt.
Will you get up? I must lash you to it.
By Pluto, gentlemen, to do you pleasure, and to make you sport, I'll do it.
Come, get up then, quick.
I'll dress you, sir.
By Jove, 'tis not for fear, but for a love I bear unto these tricks that I perform.
Hold up your snout, sir. Sit handsomely. By heaven, sir, you must do it. Come, boy.
No, by this good light I'll play him that goes with the motions.
Where's the captain, gentlemen?
Stand back, boy, and be a spectator. Gentlemen, you shall see the strange nature of an outlandish beast that has but 2 legs, bearded like a man, nosed like a goose, and tongued like a woman, lately brought from the land of Catea, a beast of much understanding, were it not given too much to the love of venery. Do I not do it well?
Admirably.
Remember, noble captain, you skip when I shall shake my whip. Now, sir, what can you do for the great Turk? What can you do for the Pope of Rome? Hark, he stirreth not, he moveth not, he waggeth not. What can you do for the town of Geneva, sirrah?
He holds up his hands instead of praying.
Sure this baboon is a great Puritan.
Is not this strange?
Not a whit. By this light, Banks's horse and he were both taught in a stable.
Oh, rare.
Zounds, I'll first be damned. Shall sport be laughed at? By 'tis, by Pluto, and by great Proserpine, my fatal blade, once drawn, falls but with death. Yet, if you'll let me go, I vow, by Jove, no widow, maid, wife, punk, or cockatrice shall make me hunt your ghost.
'Twill not serve, sir. You must show more.
I'll first be hanged and damned.
What, can he jump so well?
Is he so quick? I hope the slave will haunt no more the widow.
As for that, take no care, for by this light she'll not have thee.
Not have me?
No, not have thee. By this hand, flesh and blood, she is resolved to make my father a most fearful cuckold, and he's resolved to save his soul by her.
How by her?
Thus, all old men which marry young wives shall questionless be saved, for while they're young they keep other men's wives, and when they're old they keep wives for other men, and so by satisfaction procure salvation. Ah, why, thou dejected tail of a crab! Does not the fair Constantia Summerfield dote on thy filthy face? And wilt thou wed a wanton widow? What canst thou see to dote on her?
Only this, I love her.
Dost love her? Oh, then take up purgation, for love, I'll assure thee, is a binder. Of all things under heaven, there's no fitter parallels than a drunkard and a lover, for a drunkard loses his senses, so does your lover. Your drunkard is quarrelsome, so is your lover. Your drunkard will swear, lie, and speak great words, so will your lover. Your drunkard is most desirous of his lechery, and so is your lover. Well, the night grows old. Farewell. I am so much thy friend that none shall bed thee, while fair Constantia is resolved to wed thee.
Exeunt. Enter Thomas Smallshanks and others.
Foot, shall we let the wench go thus? My masters, now show yourselves, gentlemen, and take away the lawyer's wife. Foot, though I have no wit, yet I can love a wench and choose a wife.
Why, sir, what should you do with a wife, that are held none of the wisest? You'll get none but fools.
How, fools? Why may not I, a fool, get a wise child, as well as wise men get fools? All lies but in the agility of the woman. In troth, I think all fools are got when their mothers sleep. Therefore I'll never lie with my wife, but when she is broad waking. Stand to it, honest friends. Knock down the lieutenant, and then hurry the wench to Fleet Street. There my father and I will this morning be married.
Enter Baird and Francis.
Stand close, they come.
By Jove, the night grows dark, and Luna looks as if this hour some 50 cuckolds were making. Then let us trudge.
Down with them, down with them. Away with her, Master Smallshanks, to Fleet Street. Go, the curate there stays for you.
Exeunt.
And stays the curate? What's here? Knocked down, and blood of men let out? Must men in darkness bleed? Then Erebus look big, and Boreas blow the fire of all my rage into his nose. Night, thou art a whore, Smallshanks a rogue, and is my wench took from me? Sure I am gulled. This was no cockatrice. I never saw her before this daylight peeped. What, dropp'st thou head? This surely is the air and mad Will Smallshanks lay in ambuscado to get her now from me. Beard, Lieutenant Beard, thou art an ass. What a dull slave was I, that all this while smelt not her honesty. Pate, I do not pity thee. Hadst thou brains, Lieutenant Beard had got this wealthy heir from all these rogues. Blood to be thus o'erreached in pate and wench. Revenge, revenge, come up, and with thy curled locks cling to my beard. Smallshanks, I will betray thee. I will trudge to St. John Street to inform the Lady Summerfield where thou art. I will prevent the match. Thou art to Fleet Street gone. Revenge shall follow, and my unsensed wrath shall like great thunder disperse thy hopes and thy brave wife asunder.
Exit. Enter Lady Summerfield and Justice Touchin.
Say as I say, widow, the wench is gone, but I know whither stolen she is. Well, I know by whom. Say as I say, widow, I have been drinking hard. Why, say so too. Old men they can be fine with small ado. The law is not offended. I had no punk, nor in an alehouse have I made me drunk. The statute is not broke. I have the skill to drink by law. Then say as I say still.
To what extremes doth this licentious time hurry unstayed youth? Nor gods nor laws, whose penal scourges are enough to save even damned fiends, can in this looser age confine unbounded youth. Who durst presume to steal my youth's delight, my age's hope, her father's heir, and the last noble stem of all her ancestors? Fear they or gods or laws?
I say as you say, sister, but for the laws there are so many that men do stand in awe of none at all. Take heed they steal not you. Who woos a widow with a fair full moon shall surely speed. Beware of full moons, widow. Will Smallshanks has your daughter. No word but mum. My warrant you shall have when time shall come.
Your warrant?
Ay, my warrant, widow. My warrant can stretch far. No more but so. 'Twill serve to catch a knave or fetch a doe.
Enter serving man.
Here's a gentleman much desirous to see you, madam.
What is he for a man?
Nothing for a man, but much for a beast. I think him lunatic, for he demands what plate of his is stirring in the house. He calls your men his butlers, cooks, and stewards, kisses your women, and makes exceedingly much of your coachman's wife.
Then he's a gentleman, for 'tis a true note of a gentleman to make much of other men's wives. Bring him up. Ah, sirrah, makes he much of your coachman's wife? This gear will run a wheels then shortly. A man may make much more of another man's wife than he can do of's own.
How much, brother?
A man may make with ease a punk, a child, a bastard, a cuckold of another man's wife, all at a clap, and that is much, I think.
Enter serving man and throat.
That's my lady.
For that thou first hast brought me to her sight, I here create thee clerk of the kitchen. No man shall beg it from thee.
Sure, the fellow's mad.
What would you, sir? I guess your long profession by your scant suit. Your habit seems to turn your inside outward to me. Y'are, I think, some turner of the law.
Law is my living, and on that ancient mould I wear this outside. Suit upon suit wastes some, yet makes me thrive. First law, then gold, then love, and then we wive.
A man of form like me, but what's your business?
Be brief, good sir. What makes this bold intrusion?
Intrude I do not, for I know the law. It is the rule that squares out all our actions. Those actions bring in coin, coin gets me friends. Your son-in-law hath law at's fingers' ends.
My son-in-law?
Madam, your son-in-law. Mother, I come, be glad I call you so, to make a gentle breach into your favour, and win your approbation of my choice. Your cherry-ripe sweet daughter, so renowned for beauty, virtue, and a wealthy dower, I have espoused.
How? You espouse my daughter?
Noverint universi. The laws of heaven, of nature, church, and chance have made her mine. Therefore deliver her by these presents.
How's this? Made her yours, sir, per quam regulam? Nay, we are lettered, sir, as well as you. Ready rationem per quam regulam?
Feminae ludificantur viros. By that same rule these lips have taken seizin. Tut, I do all by statute, law, and reason.
Hence, you base knave, you pettifogging groom, clad in old ends and pieced with brokery. You wed my daughter?
You, Sir Ambidexter, a Sumner's son and learned in Norfolk wiles, some common bail or counter lawyer, marry my niece, your half-sleeves shall not carry her.
These storms will be dissolved in tears of joy, mother, I doubt it not. Justice to you that jerk at my half-sleeves, and yet yourself do never wear but buckram out of sight. A flannel waistcoat or a canvas truss, a shift of thrift, I use it. Let's be friends. You know the law has tricks. Cami cathee. Viderit utilitas. The mo to these half-arms. Corpus cum causa need no bombasting. We wear small hair, yet have we tongue and wit. Lawyers close-breeched have bodies politic.
Speak, answer me, Sir Jack. Stole you my daughter?
Short tale to make. I fingered have your daughter. I have ta'en livery in season of the wench. Deliver her then. You know the statute laws. She's mine without exception, bar all clause. Come, come, restore.
Oh, the fellow's mad, I think.
I was not mad before I married, but ipso facto what the act may make me, that know I not.
Fellows, come in there.
Enter 2 or 3 servants.
By this, sir, you confess you stole my niece, and I attach you here of felony. Lay hold on him. I'll make my mittimus and send him to the jail. Have we no bar nor claws to hamper you? Away with him, those claws shall claw you to a bar of shame, where thou shalt show thy goal. I'll bar your claim, if I be justice touching.
Hands off, you slaves! Oh, favour my jerkin, though you tear my flesh. I set more store by that. My audita querella shall be heard, and with a certiorari I'll fetch her from you with a pox.
Enter Beard.
What's here to do? Is all the world in arms? More tumults, brawls, and insurrections? Is blood the thing whereon our time must tread?
Is Beard your butler? Arrest you, Beard, draw.
Draw I not so. My blade's as ominously drawn unto the death of 9 or 10 such grooms as is a knife unsheathed with a hungry maw threatening the ruin of a chine of beef. But for the restless toil it took of late, my blade shall sleep a while.
Help!
Stop thy throat and hear me speak, whose bloody characters will show I have been scuffling. Briefly thus. Thy wife, your daughter, and your lovely niece is hurried now to Fleet Street. The damned crew, with glaives and clubs, have raped her from these arms. Throat thou art balmed, although thou balk'st the air, yet hath the slave made a re-entry.
Sirrah, what are you?
My lady's butler, sir.
Not I, by heaven.
By this good light he swore it, and for your daughter's love he ran away.
By Jove, I gulled thee, throat.
More knavery yet? Lay hands on him, pinion them both, and guard them hence towards Fleet Street. Come away.
Must we be led like thieves and pinioned walk? Spent I my blood for this? Is this my hire? Why then burn, rage, set beard and nose on fire.
On, I say.
Justice, the law shall firk you.
End of Act 4. Ram Alley, or Merry Tricks by Lording Barry. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Actus 5. Enter William Smallshanks.
On this 1 hour depends my hopes and fortunes. But I must have this widow. What should my dad make with a wife that scarce can wipe his nose, untruss his points, or hold a chamber pot steady till he pisses? The doors are fast. 'Tis now the midst of night, yet shall this chain procure access, and conference with the widow? What, though I cheat my father, all men have sins, though in their several kinds, all ends in this. So they get gold, they care not whose it is. Begging the court, use bears the city out, lawyers their quirks, thus goes the world about. So that our villainies have but different shapes, the effects all one, and poor men are but apes to imitate their betters. This is the difference. All great men's sins must still be humoured, and poor men's vices largely punished. The privilege that great men have in evil is this: they go unpunished to the devil. Therefore I'll in. This chain I know will move. Gold and rich stones win coyest ladies' love.
Knocks. Enter Adriana above.
What would you, sir, that you do knock so boldly?
I must come in to the widow.
How come in? The widow has no entrance for such maids.
Dost hear, sweet chambermaid? By heaven, I come with letters from my father. I have brought her stones, jewels, and chains, which she must use tomorrow.
You're a needy knave, and will lie. Your father has cashed you, nor will he trust you. Begone, lest I do wash you hence.
Dost hear? By this good night my father and I are friends. Take but this chain for token, give her that, and tell her I have other things for her, which, by my father's will, I am commanded to give to her own hands.
Say you so? In troth, I think you'll prove an honest man, had you once got a beard. Let me see the chain.
Dost think I lie? By this light, Adriana, I love her with my soul. Here's letters and other jewels sent her from my father. Is she abed?
By my virginity, she's uncased and ready to slip in betwixt the sheets. But I will bear her this, and tell her what you say.
Exit.
But make some haste. Why so, 'twill take heart. How a waiting maid can shake a fellow up that is cashiered and has no money. Foot, should she keep the chain and not come down, I must turn citizen, be bankrupt, and crave the king's protection. Oh, but here she comes.
Enter Taffeta in her smock and Adriana.
What would you, sir, with us, that on the sudden and so late you come?
I have some secrets to acquaint you with. Please you to let the chambermaid shake off, and stand as sentinel.
It shall not need. I hope I have not brought her up so ill, but that she knows how to contain your secrets, as well as I her mistress. Therefore on.
It is not fit, forsooth, that I should on before she leave the room.
'Tis not, indeed. Therefore I'll wait in the withdrawing room until you call.
Exit.
Now, sir, what's your will?
Dear widow, pity the state of a young, poor, yet proper gentleman. By Venus pap, upon my knees I'd creep unto your lap for one small drop of favour. And though this face is not the finest face, yet 'tas been praised by ladies of good judgment in faces.
Are these your secrets?
You shall have secrets more pleasing. Nay, here, sweet widow, some wantons do delight to see men creep, and on their knees to woo them.
I am none of those. Stand up, I more desire a man should stand than cringe and creep. That means to win my love. I say stand up, and let me go, ye had best.
Forever let me creep upon the ground, unless you hear my suit.
How now, Sir Sauce? Would you be capering in your father's saddle? Away, you cashiered younger brother, begone. Do not I know the fashions of you all? When a poor woman has laid open all her thoughts to you, then you grow proud and coy. But when wise maids dissemble and keep close, then you poor snakes come creeping on your bellies, and with all oiled up looks prostrate yourselves before our beauty's sun, where once but warm, like hateful snakes you strike us with your stings, and then forsake us. I know your tricks. Begone.
But I'll first be hanged. Nay, if you go, you shall leave your smock behind you, widow. Keep close your womanish weapon, hold your tongue, nor speak, cough, sneeze, or stamp, for if you do, by this good blade I'll cut your throat directly. Peace, Stir not, by heaven I'll cut your throat if you but stir. Speak not, stand still, go to. I'll teach coy widows a new way to woo. Come, you shall kiss. Why, so. I'll stab, by heaven, if you but stir. Now, here. I'll first kiss again. Why, so. Stir not. Now come I to the point. My hopes are past, nor can my present state afford a single halfpenny. My father hates me deadly. To beg, my birth forbids. To steal, the law, the hangman, and the rope with one consent deny. To go, O trust, the city common council has forbid it. Therefore my state is desperate. Stir not. And I by much will rather choose to hang than in a ditch or prison hole to starve. Resolve, wed me, and take me to your bed, or by my soul I'll straight cut off your head. Then kill myself, for I had rather die than in a street live poor and lousily. You don't, I know you cannot, love my father, a widow that has known the quid of things, to dote upon an old and crazed man that stinks at both ends worse than an elder pipe, who, when his blood and spirit are at the height, hath not a member to his palsy body, but is more limber than a king's head pudding took from the pot half sod. Do I not know this? Have you not wealth enough to serve us both? And am I not a pretty handsome fellow to do your drudgery? Come, come, resolve, for by my blood, if you deny your bed, I'll cut your throat without equivocation. If you be pleased, hold up your finger. If not, by heaven, I'll gar my whinyard through your womb. Is it a match?
Hear me but speak.
You'll prate too loud.
No.
Nor speak one word against my honest suit?
No, by my worth.
Kiss upon that and speak.
I dare not wed. Men say you're not, you'll cheat, and you do keep a whore.
That is a lie. She keeps herself and me. Yet I protest, she's not dishonest.
How could she maintain you?
Why, by her comings in. A little thing her friends have left her, which, with putting to best use and often turning, yields her a poor living. But what of that? She's now shook off. To thee I'll only cleave. I'll be thy merchant, and to this wealthy fair I'll bring my ware, and here set up my standing. Therefore resolve. Naught but my sword is left. If't be a match, clap hands, contract, and straight to bed. If not, pray, forgive, and straight goes off your head.
I take thy love.
Then straight let's both to bed.
I'll wed tomorrow.
You shall not sleep upon't. An honest contract is as good as marriage. A bird in hand. You know the proverb, widow.
Oh, let me tell thee, I'll love thee while I live for this attempt. Give me that lusty lad that wins his widow with his well-drawn blade, and not with oaths and word. A widow's wooing not in bare words, but should consist in doing. I take thee to my husband.
I thee to wife. Now to thy bed, and there we'll end this strife.
Exeunt. Enter Sir Oliver and Fiddlers.
Warm blood, the young man's slave, the old man's god, makes me to stir thus soon. It stirs, i' faith, and with a kind of itching pricks me on to bid my bride bonjour. Oh, this desire is even another filched Promethean fire, by which we old men live. Performance, then, is that poor old men's bane, that in old men comes limping off more lame, God knows, than he which in a close, a hot, a dangerous fight has been dismembered and craves by letters patents. Yet scarce a woman that considers this. Women have tricks, firks, and farthingales. A generation are they, full of subtlety, and almost honest, where they want the means to be otherwise. Therefore, I'll have an eye my widow goes not off to visit kinsfolk. By birth she is a ninny, and that I know is not in London held the smallest kindred. I must have wits and brains. Come on, my friends, out with your tools, and to it, a strain of mirth and a pleasant song to wake the widow.
Enter William Smallshanks above in his shirt.
Musicians, minstrels, foot rogues, for God's love, leave your filthy squeaking noise and get you gone. The widow and myself will scramble out the shaking of the sheets without music. We have no need of fiddlers to our dancing. Foot, have you no manners? Cannot a man take his natural rest for your scraping? I shall wash your gut strings if you but stay a while. Yet, honest rascals, if you'll let us have t'other crash, the widow and I'll keep time. There's for your pains.
Throws them down money.
How's this? Will the widow and you keep time? What trick, what quiddit, what feggery is this? My cashiered son speak from the widow's chamber and in his shirt. Ha! Sure she is not there. 'Tis so she has took him in for pity, and now removes her chamber. I will home. On with my neatest robes, perfume my beard, eat cloves, and goes and drink some aquavitae to sweeten breath, and keep my weem from wambling. Then, like the month of March, come blustering in, marry the widow, shake up this springle, and then, as quiet as a sucking lamb, close by the widow will I rest all night. As for my breath, I have crotches and devices. Ladies' rank breaths are often helped with spices.
Enter Adriana and another, strawing herbs.
Come, straw pace. Lord, shall I never live to walk to church on flowers? Oh, 'tis fine to see a bride trip it to church so lightly, as if her new chopines would scorn to bruise a silly flower. And now, I prithee, tell me, what flower thinkest thou is likest to a woman?
A marigold, I think.
Why a marigold?
Because a little heat makes it to spread and open wide his leaves.
Tart quite wide. A marigold doth open wide all day, and shuts most close at night. I hope thou knowest, all wenches do the contrary. But, sirrah, how does thy uncle, the old doctor? Dost think he'll be a bishop?
Oh, questionless, for has got him a young wife, and carried her to court already. But now, I prithee, say, why will the widow wed so old a knight?
Why? For his riches.
For riches only? Why, riches cannot give her her delight.
Riches, I hope, can soon procure her one, shall give her her delight. That's the devil. That's it, i'faith, makes us waiting gentlewomen live maids so long.
Think you so?
Yes, in faith. Married women quite have spoiled the market by having secret friends besides their husbands. For if these married wives would be content to have but one apiece, I think in troth there would be doings enough for us all. And till we get an Act of Parliament for that, our states are desperate. Come, straw apace.
Enter Boucher and Constantia.
So ho ho, master.
Boy.
In troth, I thought you'd be more fast asleep than a midwife or a Puritan tailor at a Sunday evening's lecture. But, sir, why do you rise so soon?
To see the widow.
The weaker you. You are forbid a widow, and 'tis the first thing you will fall into. Methinks a young, clear-skinned country gentlewoman that never saw baboons, lions, or courtiers might prove a handsome wife. Or what do you say to a citizen's daughter that never was in love with a player, that never learned to dance, that never dwelt near any inn of court? Might not she in time prove an honest wife? Faith, take a maid, and leave the widow, master. Of all meats I love not a gaping oyster.
God speed your works, fair maids.
You much mistake. 'Tis no work.
What then?
A preparation to a work, sir.
What work, sweet ladies?
Why, to a marriage. That's a work, I think.
How? A preparation to a marriage? Of whom, kind maids, of whom?
And why kind maids? I hope you have had no kindness at our hand to make you say so. But, sir, understand that Sir Oliver Smallshanks, the noble knight, and Mistress Tefetta, the rich widow, must this day be coupled, conjoined, married, espoused, wedded, contracted, or, as the Puritan says, put together. And so, sir, to the shifting of our clean smocks we leave you.
Exeunt Adriana and the other woman.
Married? And today? Oh, dissension, jealousy, hate, beggary, with all the dire events which breed dislike in nuptial beds, attend her bridal steps! Can vows and oaths with such protesting action, as if their hearts were spit forth with their words, as if their souls were darted through their eyes, be of no more validity with women? Have I for her condemned my fixed fate, neglected my fair hopes, and scorned the love of beauteous, virtuous, and honoured Constantia?
Aside.
Now works it with my wish. My hopes are full.
And I engaged my worth and ventured life on yonder buffling face to have men scorn and point at my disgrace? First will I leave to live. There, take my purse, live thou to a better fate. Better thus die than live unfortunate.
Boucher hangs himself.
Ay me a curse! Help, help, Merthyr, Merthyr, cursed be the day and hour that gave me breath. Merthyr, Merthyr, if any gentleman can hear my plaints, come forth and assist me.
What outcries call me from my naked bed? Who calls Geronimo? Speak, here I am.
Good sir, leave your struggling and acting, and help to save the life of a distressed man. Oh, help if you be gentlemen.
What's here? A man hanged up and all the murderers gone, and at my door to lay the guilt on me? This place was made to pleasure citizens' wives, and not to hang up honest gentlemen.
Enter Taffeta.
Where be these lazy knaves? Some raise the house. What meant the cry of murder? Where's my love?
Oh, come, Isabella, help me to lament, for sighs are stopped and all my tears are spent. These clothes I oft have seen. Ay me, my friend, pursue the murderers, raise all the street.
It shall not need. He stirs. Give him breath.
Oh, is there yet life? Horatio, my dear boy, Horatio, Horatio, what hast thou misdone to lose thy life when life was new begun?
Tart, a man had as good be hanged outright as to endure this clapping. Shame to thy sex, perfidious perjured woman, where's thy shame? How can thy modesty forbear to blush, and knowest I know thee an adulteress? Have not thy vows made thee my lawful wife before the face of heaven? Where is thy shame? But why speak I of shame to thee, whose face is steeled with customed sin, whose thoughts want grace? The custom of thy sin so lulls thy sense. Women ne'er blush, though ne'er so foul the offence, to break thy vow to me, and straight to wed a doting stinkard.
But hold your tongue, or by this light I'll truss you up again. Heart, rail on my wife. Am I a stinkard, or do I dote? Speak such another word, and up you truss again. Am I a stinkard?
The knight your father is.
Why, who denies it? He supplanted thee, and I supplanted him. Come, come, you shall be friends. Come, forgive her, for by this light there is no remedy, unless you will betake you to my leavings.
Rather than so, I'll help you to a wife, rich, well-born, and by some accounted fair. And for the worth of her virginity, I dare presume to pull my honesty. What say you to Constantia Summerfield?
Dost thou know where she is, boy?
I do, nay more. If he but swear to embrace her constant love, I'll fetch her to this place.
He shall do it, boy. He shall do it. Go fetch her, boy. Oh, foot, my father.
Enter Sir Oliver and fiddlers. Exit Constantia.
Stand to it now, old wench, stand to it now.
Now, fresh and youthful as the month of May, I'll bid my bride good morrow. Musicians, on! Lightly, lightly, and by my knighthood spurs, this year you shall have my protection, and yet not by your livery coat yourselves. Good morrow, bride. Fresh as the month of May, I come to kiss thee on my wedding day.
Saving your tale, sir, I'll show you how April showers bring May flowers, so merrily sings the cuckoo. The truth is, I have laid my knife aboard. The widow, sir, is wedded.
Ha!
Bedded.
Ha!
Why, my good father, what should you do with a wife? Would you be crested? Will you needs thrust your head in one of Vulcan's helmets? Will you perforce wear a city cap and a court feather?
Villain! Slave, thou hast wronged my wife.
Not so. Speak, my good wench. Have I not done thee right?
I find no fault, and I protest, Sir Oliver, I not have lost the last 2 hours' sleep I had by him for all the wealth you have.
Villain, slave, I'll hang thee by the statute. Thou hast 2 wives.
Be not so furious, sir. I have but this. The other was my whore, which now is married to an honest lawyer.
Thou villain, slave, thou hast abused thy father.
Your son, in faith, your very son, in faith. The villain boy has one trick of his sire, has fucked away the wench, has pierced the hogshead and knows by this the vintage.
I am undone.
You could not love the widow but her wealth.
The devil take my soul, but I did love her.
That oath doth show you are a northern knight, and of all the men alive I'll never trust a northern man in love.
And why? And why, slut?
Because the first word he speaks is, the devil take his soul. And who will give him trust that once he has given his soul unto the devil?
She says most true, father. The soul once gone, the best part of man is gone.
And, in faith, if the best part of a man is gone, the rest of his body is not worth a rush, though it be ne'er so handsome.
Enter Lady Summerfield, throat and beard, bound, and Justice Touchin.
Bring them away.
How now? My lawyer pinioned. Oh, I begin to stink already.
Cheater, my daughter.
She's mad.
My wife, sir, my wife.
They're mad, stark mad. I am sorry, sir, you have lost those happy wits by which you lived so well. Ugh, the air grows cold. Therefore, I'll take my leave.
So stay him, officers. Sir, 'tis not your tricks of wit can carry it. Officers, attach him and this gentleman for stealing away my heir.
You do me wrong. Heart, I never saw your heir.
That's a lie. You stole her, and by chance I married her.
God give you joy, sir.
Ask the butler else. Therefore, widow, release me, for by no law, statute, or bookcase of Vicesimo Edwardi Secundi, nor by the statute of Tricesimo Henrici Sexti, nor by any bookcase of Decimo of the late Queen, am I accessory, part, or party confederate, abettor, helper, seconder, persuader, forwarder, principal, or maintainer of this late theft, but by law. I forward, and she willing, clapped up the match, and by a good statute of Decimo Tertio Ricciardi Quarti, she is my lawful, and my true married wife, Teste Lieutenant Beard.
Who lives would think that you could prate so fast, your hands being bound behind you? Foot, he talks with as much ease as he were in his shirt.
I am witness thou hadst the air.
So am I.
And so is my man Dash.
Hear me but speak. Situous judges, undo the lawyer's hands that he may freely act, and I'll be bound that William Smallshanks shall put your throat to silence and overthrow him at his own weapon.
Agreed. Take each his place and hear the case argued betwixt them two.
Agreed.
Now, throat, or never, stretch yourself.
Fear not.
Here stand I for my client, this gentleman.
I for the widow.
Begin.
Right worshipful, I say that William Smallshanks, madman, is by a statute made in octavo of Richard Coeur de Lion guilty to the law of felony for stealing this lady's heir. That he stole her, the proof is most pregnant. He brought her to my house, confessed himself he made great means to steal her. I liked her, and finding him a novice, truth to tell, married her myself, and, as I said, by a statute Richardi Quarti, she is my lawful wife.
For my client, I say, the wench I brought unto your house was not the daughter to rich Summerfield.
What proof of that?
This gentleman.
Tut, tut, he's a party in the cause. But, sir, if 'twere not the daughter to this good widow, who was it? Answer that.
An arrant whore which you have married, and she is run away with all your jewels. This is true, and this Lieutenant Beard can testify. It was the wench I kept in Hosier Lane.
What, was it she?
Oh, the very same.
Speak, Sirrah Beard, if all he says be true.
She said she was a punk, a rampant whore, which in her time had been the cause of parting some 14 bards. He kept her in the suburbs. Yet I do think this wench was not the same.
The case is clear with me.
Oh, strange, oh, strange.
Sir, this is not true. How lived you in the suburbs and escaped so many searches?
I answer that most constables in our out parishes are boards themselves, by which we escaped the searches.
This is most strange.
What's become of this woman?
That know not I. As I was squiring her along the street, Master Smallshanks set upon me, beat me down, and took away the maid, which I suppose was daughter to the widow.
He lies! Let me be hanged if he lie not.
What confusion is this?
Enter Constable.
Bring them forward.
Enter Thomas Smallshanks and Francis. Constable. To Sir Oliver.
God preserve your worship.
To Lady Summerfield.
And it like you, madam, we were commanded by your deputy that, if we took a woman in the watch, to bring her straight to you, and hearing there you were come hither we brought them.
The one is my son, I do acknowledge him. What woman's that?
The widow's daughter, sir.
Oh, blood! Is he gulled too?
My brother stole her first, Throat cozened him, and I had cozened Throat, had not the constable took us in the watch. She is the widow's daughter, had I had luck.
And my espoused wife.
Unmask her face. My daughter? I defy her.
Your worship's wife.
I am gulled and abused. And by a statute of Tricissimo of the late Queen, I will star-chamber you all for cozenage, and be by law divorced.
Sir, 'twill not hold. She's your lawful and true wedded wife. Teste, Lieutenant Beard.
Wast you that brake my head?
But why shouldst think much to die a cuckold, being born a knave? As good lawyers as you scorn not horns.
I am gulled, ay me accursed. Why should the harmless men be vexed with horns, when women most deserve them?
I'll show you, sir. The husband is the wife's head, and, I pray, where should the horns stand but upon the head? Why, wert not thou begot, thou foolish knave, by a poor Sumner on a sergeant's widow? Wert not thou a Puritan, and put in trust to gather relief for the distressed Geneva? And didst not thou leave thy poor brethren and run away with all the money? Speak, was not that thy first rising? Go, y'are well coupled, by Jove y'are. She is but a younger sister newly come to town. She's current metal, not a penny the worse for a little use. Hole within the ring, by my soul.
Will he take her, think'st thou?
Yes, faith, upon her promise of amendment.
The lawyer is gulled.
Am I thus overreached to have a wife, and not of the best neither?
Good sir, be content. A lawyer should make all things right and straight. All lies but in the handling. I may prove a wife that shall deserve your best of love.
Take her, Throat, you have a better jewel now than ever. Kiss her, man, all friends.
Yet in this happy close I still have lost my only daughter.
Where's thy page, Boucher?
Enter Constantia.
Here I present the page, and that all doubt may be cleared, here in my proper shape, that all your joys may be complete and full, I must make one. With pardon, gentle mother, since all our friends so happily are met, here will I choose a husband. This be the man whom, since I left your house in shape of page, I still have followed.
Foot, Would I had known so much, I would have been bold to have lain with your page.
Say, am I welcome?
As is my life and soul.
Heaven give you joy, since all so well succeeds. Take my consent.
Then are we all paired, I and my lass, you and your wife, the lawyer and his wench, and father, fall you aboard of the widow. But then my brother.
Faith, I am a fool.
That's all one. If God had not made some elder brothers fools, how should witty younger brothers be maintained? Strike up, music, let's have an old song. Since all my tricks have found so good success, we'll sing, dance, dice, and drink down heaviness.
Epilogus. Thus 2 hours have brought to end what many tedious hours have penned. He dares not glory nor distrust, but he, as other writers must, submits the tensures of his pains to those whose wit and nimble brains are able best to judge, and as for some, who, filled with malice, hither come to belch their poison on his labour, of them he doth entreat no favour, but bids them hang or soon amend, for worth shall still itself defend. And for ourself we do desire you'll breathe on us that glowing fire, by which in time we may obtain like favours which some others gain, for be assured our loves shall tend to equal theirs, if not transcend. End of Ram Alley, or Merry Tricks, by Lording Berry.